What is going on? Good evening, everybody. And by evening, I mean 11:30. Yo, what? How could you do that to me? It's actually over. It's so over. That's not cool, man. For that, I give you cicadas. Cicadas at you. You didn't want scam messages? I didn't get any scam messages last stream. I only got normal messages. I do occasionally get follow bots in here that are like, ugh, go to this website to get free followers. No, I don't want your bot followers. I want real people. No point. Maybe I should post this on the website as well. We are not staring again. Absolutely not cool. What's my Twitch link again? There it is. I posted on the Bluebird app. Yes, I'm very clothed today. Well, I was yesterday too, but still. Cicadas for you. Whoa, what's going on? Why am I frame skipping so much? Is everything okay? Is my stream working? What's going on? Am I live? don't know what I did that made it skip 1,000 frames. I'm just gonna close everything I don't need. We have the. I'm right here. What do you mean, where? Am I not a star to you? I mean, That's so rude. How could you say that? Absolutely not okay. Okay, I'm going to the washroom real quick, and then we will start. She does love that toy. It's huge. It's the biggest one we've ever gotten her. And she always trips down the stairs while she's carrying it. You don't... What? Why not? Hello? 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 Am I here? Don't do that. You don't need any more screenshots. There we go. You hear me now? No, you don't need dog stream. You don't need dog stream. The whole stream can be dog stream depending on what you pay attention to, so. Good, good, good. Okay. I have... I forget what I was gonna say. I'm gonna continue. Oh yeah, I have white this time. I kept forgetting to put my white back on last time, so I made like my OBS window smaller and then just did like a whole white outline around it, so we should be able to see me in the brightness for the whole stream, I hope. We'll see. We will see. Let me know if I ever get too dark. Okay, we were at end of chapter 8. Did I view the tips for it? I think so. Yeah, I did. Okay. Let us continue. There was no way I'd be able to sleep. That's what I've been saying. When she hung up the phone like that, I realized for the first time what kind of situation I was in, as well as the only ally who would support me was. No, it doesn't. It's peak. Don't complain. I waited with bated breath for Xian to calm down and call me back. What would I do if the phone rang while I was sound asleep? No matter how long I waited, however, it never rang. Exhausted, whenever my mind started to wander, I would jolt awake as though I heard the phone ring. How are we already having clips? Literally 11 minutes into the stream. Come on. In the end, I brought the cordless phone with me into my futon and went to sleep with it in my arms, though it still didn't amount to anything. Morning came, and by that time, I was pretty sure she wasn't calling back. That was when a fierce drowsiness assailed me. Damn it, this is no time for sleep, Keiichi Maibara. I slapped myself in the face a few times. Then I went to the washroom and washed my face, which was something I usually didn't do. That wasn't enough either, so I even brushed my teeth. That's, like, unusual for you? After that, I was finally wide awake. Cupture? Minor spelling mistake, pointed laugh, minor spelling mistake. When Mom saw how strange I was acting, her eyes went wide. What's wrong, Keiichi? Are you going somewhere today? Going somewhere? Yeah, to school. Keiichi-kun, you don't look so good today. Do you have a cold? I'm not sick, I just didn't get much sleep. If I space out and start talking nonsense, just humor me. I wonder what kind of nonsense you'll say. I wonder. Now I'm looking forward to it. I felt utterly shattered, and I still hadn't picked myself back up from this morning, and for precisely that reason, Rena's honest smile was a sight for sore eyes. Yo, what's up, Kei-chan? Rena? Good morning. What? Mi-chan, you look like you didn't get much sleep either. Mion had gone home early yesterday with a hangover, but she didn't look too good this morning either. Her usual cheerfulness was completely buried in shadow. Yeah, I went to bed at like 3. I'm a little tired. 3? Hey now, you can't keep staying up late. You probably read the first volume of a manga, thought it was interesting, then read the entire series, didn't you? I understand, I've done that before. I joked, trying to shake off my sleepiness. I was trying to be considerate. However, neither Mion nor Rena smiled. In fact, they didn't even pay attention. Rena's expression immediately darkened. What? Wait, is it about the mayor? He still hasn't been found? Nope. Hey, wait a minute. What are you talking about? You can't find the mayor? Even the classroom, which was normally bursting with bright, joking voices, seemed filled with a different sort of murmur today. She literally did? She literally did? Literally did? Where am I going? Where am I going? What am I looking for? Oh, I see. Yeah, that's gotta mean something. That'll be important. That'll be important. Good morning, Keiichi-san. Have you heard? It looks like something terrible has happened. I don't really know this mayor person, but he's an old guy, right? Couldn't he just be wandering around senile? Joe Biden? The mayor is certainly not senile. He's a sprightly man who can teach both calligraphy and swordsmanship. He probably got lost somewhere like me. I lost Rika. I want to take you home with me. Getting lost is only cute because children like Rika-chan do it. A worn-out old man getting lost isn't moe in the slightest. While my mind entertained dumb thoughts like that, our teacher arrived. Everyone rushed to their seats. Who is emailing me at this hour? Oh, I gotta pay for my Ami. Slight delay. I'm getting the third set of. Don't worry about it. Just go along with it. Oh, I was talking about how I didn't get any scam bots like literally 5 minutes ago. Kill them, Ariel. Kill them. Yeah, I gotta pay for my my third set of Love Live cards. Ariel, go faster. There's literally a button to ban. There we go. Whatever. You work too. Remove the space. Streamboo.com. That looks like a strangely normal URL. I like how it like pinged a non-existent user too. I have to pay 7,800 yen. Should I use my Ami points? I don't know what those are. Oh, they're equal to 1 yen. So I get 45 cents off my order. Pog. Submit payment. I'm actually glad that it reminded me about that because I completely forgot. Processing my payment. Pause. Oh great, now they gotta text me. They gotta make sure that is me paying. Be aware of scams. What? Ariel, why did you ban Carter? There's no reason for that. That was so uncalled for. Ariel, I don't think you need to be mod anymore. Oh, man. Yeah, I said it was a scam. The person that sent best viewers on streamboo.com removed the space at 5LY5LZG6. Not my friend who is in my Discord. That's insane. No, it's okay. Let's chill. This is so dumb, Ariel. Bro, what? Good morning, everyone. Good morning. The class greeting was normal, but the atmosphere in the room was heavy. Some of you may have already heard, but last night, despite the late hour, the mayor never came home. Is there anyone here who saw the mayor yesterday? One or two hands went up in the silence, and they told her about having seen him. Gavin did. UAXD, the other mod that's in chat. None of it seemed to be vital information, however, and everyone began whispering amongst themselves. If anyone has seen the mayor, please tell an adult about it, alright? Now then, let's begin class. After that, the same old lessons began. I'll see myself out. No, it's okay, you can stay. I need the viewers. The rumors, once quieted, blossomed in flowers again at lunchtime. I could hear a few different conversations. They were mostly related to the mayor's disappearance. Summing them all up, I came out with this. Yesterday evening, the mayor went to a meeting at the Shrine's Assembly Hall. The meeting ended after the sun had fully set and everyone left. The elder's house was a bit far from the center of Hinamizawa. It was already late, and Hinamizawa doesn't have a lot of lights outside. Nobody saw the mayor after the meeting. However, because he would have been hungry, he wouldn't have taken any side trips. He would have gone straight home. However, no matter how long his family waited, he never returned. Some thought there might have been an accident. Why would they leave literally the mayor alone on the night of Watanagashi? The night that everybody, that somebody, like, without fail, always dies or goes missing. Why would anybody leave themselves alone that night? Some thought there might have been an accident. They left no stone unturned. They searched from the irrigation channels to the water wells and even in the rice paddies, but they didn't find him. Of course, there was a limit to how far they could search in the middle of the night. The police were going to have to wait for daylight, then have the young men of the town help search. If after all that they still didn't find him, they were apparently even going to go looking in the mountains. Even now, at this moment, the adults were probably all searching for him. The more they searched in vain, and the more time passed, the only thing that came to mind was the curse. The rumors of Onikakushi. of the demoning away. Had he become this year's sacrifice to Oyashiro-sama's curse, which had recently been occurring every year? That scary possibility, which everybody thought about but nobody could say out loud, was slowly but surely spreading throughout the village. Was he demoned away and offered as a sacrifice to quell Oyashiro-sama's anger? My classmates were whispering to each other that the curse didn't happen this year, so there shouldn't have been any sacrifices. I, on the other hand, I knew. The curse did happen again this year, and there were 2 people that died. This may sound strange, but I hadn't exactly thought the elder would be the one to go missing. My reason was clear. Shion and I should have been a higher priority than him. The 4 of us were the thieves that broke the taboo and set foot in the sacred ritual storehouse. If Tomitake-san and Takano-san had suffered mysterious deaths, then it should have been mine and Shion's turn next. This time should have been Shion and me, eh? I laughed painfully to myself. I'd yelled at Shion over the phone that I didn't want to end up in such a terrifying situation, but now that someone other than me had disappeared, I could only think that I should have been the first to go. Onigafuchi, the bottomless swamp said to have been the place where they drowned sacrifices long ago. Just as it ran through my thoughts, the villagers must have also considered the swamp. Maybe police divers were plumbing its depths even now. They probably wouldn't find anyone. Not a single missing person had ever been found. They'd always suspected Onigafuchi, but not once had they ever turned up a corpse from it. After all, it was a devilish, bottomless swamp from which no one who sinks can ever return. I could hear someone telling their friend that in the classroom. Now that you mention it, Satoshi-san, he left around this time last year, didn't he? Huh? Satoshi? I've heard that name before. He was... right, he disappeared because of last year's curse. The conversation was happening in the seat next to me, so I could hear it clearly. Didn't we search the whole village like this for Satoshi-san, too? We didn't find him either. What did we decide that was? A demoning away, right? Yeah, I heard he withdrew all his savings and ran away from home. Someone from the police said that there was someone who saw him get on the bullet train at Nagoya Station. Ran away, huh? I wasn't that interested in the reason, which seemed understandable in this case. Everyone else who disappeared had their own reasons, too. Either they were still on the run because they were criminals, or they were a corpse that couldn't be found. It's not like any of them suddenly disappeared into thin air for no reason. But they disappeared. Someone disappeared whenever the curse took a life, as if by design. They may have had various understandable reasons, but they still disappeared. From that point of view, it really might have been a demoning away this time. The mayor's disappearance was the first such incident without a clear reason behind it. Of course, coming to that realization didn't help to resolve anything. It looks like I messed up the seasoning today. Sorry. Normally, Rena would have devoured her lunch immediately, but today there was still a ton left. That wasn't because Rena's lunch didn't taste good or anything, though. That isn't the case. Your lunch today is as delicious as always. Satoko dips her chopsticks into Rena's bento box and pulls out bits of food, one after the other. Yes, delicious indeed. Today in particular, in fact. Chomp chomp. You know those are pumpkin croquettes, right? Are you okay? Yes. If it's your pumpkin, then it's delicious. Did Satoko dislike pumpkin? Regardless, she forced herself to smile and shoved more into her mouth. Everyone knew. Nobody's lunch tasted very good today. Satoko kept shoveling it down, repeating her remark on how good it was. If it's that good, then I guess I've got to have some too. Satoko's going to eat it all if we let her. It's just so good, so I would certainly like it if Keiichi-san were to eat some as well. Well, sometimes I have to show my adult generosity, right? Okay, don't hold back on my account. Eat enough for the both of us today. What? She really, really hated pumpkin, didn't she? That made it all the more touching to see Satoko's own brand of generosity. I grabbed her head and started stroking it. Satoko, in a somewhat exaggerated fashion, was bawling, tears streaming down her face. No way. You'll never grow up if you give away such good food. Rena, you eat too. I only have leftover vegetable stew, but it tastes great after having sat overnight. Yeah, the daikon radish has such a pretty color going through it. It looks delicious. I guess I'll have some then. Rena reached out with her chopsticks, and at last, the usual lunchtime atmosphere began to return. That was only at our desks, however. The dark tales of Oyashiro-sama's curse, which had recurred for 5 years in a row, didn't cease. The whole classroom remained stuck in this somber mood. Oyashiro-sama's curse had happened for 5 years straight. Everyone had wanted the previous year to be the last. What was Oyashiro-sama's curse anyway? They were going to build a dam in Hinamizawa. The people building it were bad, so they were cursed. I would admit that much. Still, the dam project was frozen years ago, wasn't it? So why was the curse stubbornly persisting? I hit myself on the cheeks to perk myself back up. Everyone was trying so hard to brighten the mood, I couldn't go straight back to thinking about the curse like that. I forced the grim story out of my head. Driving Oyashiro-sama's curse out of my thoughts was actually a good idea. In the end, that meant I would also be driving away the most terrifying thought of all, that I could be the curse's next target. Mion's taking a while, isn't she? How long does it take to wash your hands? Mion had said she was going to wash her hands and left, and she hadn't come back yet. She's probably taking a little afternoon nap somewhere. I think she was up pretty late last night looking for the mayor, after all. I smiled wryly and let out a sigh. Today was no good. However much we tried to lighten the mood, things always came back to the mayor. It was just a no-good day. I had just transferred here recently, so the shock of a curse happening 5 years running was an unimaginably big one. No, it's not even midnight yet. Maybe I do need to appreciate that. When Michan was really little, the mayor would always spoil her. When she was going through her prankster phase, he loved her like his own daughter. She's told me that often. I see. Mion was in shock too. Someone disappearing at all because of a curse was a very scary thing. If the sacrifice was someone you knew, though, then the shock must have been 100 times worse. Satoko, as if she'd come to the same conclusion, bit her lower lip and looked downwards. Oh, Rika-chan is taking a while too. Maybe they're taking a nice afternoon nap together. Rika wasn't out that late. As soon as she yawned, everyone gathered around her and started saying good night, good night. Now that she mentioned it, there were a lot of old people rubbing their prayer beads in fervent gratitude towards Rika-chan during the festival, too. An image of the indulgent elderly came to mind. Had Rika-chan discovered a way to get herself to be pampered like that? Is there a reason the old people treat Rika-chan like an idol? Is she their ideal image of a granddaughter or something? The clown music. I don't know anything about that, but I want to see Rika-chan yawning. It's probably all like, "Fwah! I want to take her home." I don't personally think that it's that cute. It's more of a gwa, and she opens her mouth really wide so you can see the back of her throat. Her throat, the thing in... Ren is handy at times like these. I finally managed a heartfelt laugh. Oh, right. I'm on day duty today, aren't I? I need to go water the flower garden. The garden is right outside the teacher's lounge, too, so they can immediately tell if you don't do it right. I think Satoko-chan is cute, not only Rika-chan. Can't breathe. I got a glimpse. It was so cute. Satoko-chan's is cute, too. I'm gonna take you home. Rena was squeezing her hands around Satoko's neck and was trying to get a look into her throat. You know, Rena is, I can't say it out loud, but she's a notorious censored, isn't she? What are we censoring? They've said some messed up things in here. What do they have to censor? Hearing Satoko make a weird noise like a chicken being strangled was kind of hilarious, and I couldn't help but laugh. At some point, the classroom had erupted into laughter, too. Maybe Rena was doing it on purpose. Even if she wasn't, this nonsense was a welcome sight. What did she... No, what did this guy say? Anyway, let's get over to the flowers while I still have time. Slowly and quietly, lest I destroy the room's newfound peace, I left the classroom. The watering can was hanging up outside the kitchen. This building had originally been an all-male forestry service building, so there was apparently nothing so thoughtful as a garden here before. When they decided to have a school share the space, they built one there as a modest gesture of appreciation. But, well, the flower bed, it was a little longer than you'd expect. It went all around. It went all over the place. It was so big, one would need to refill the watering can 5 or 6 times to get it all done. I was doing this together with a kid who was also, thankfully, on day duty today. She was in the lowest grade, though, and a full size smaller than even Rika-chan. I couldn't make a kid who would struggle just to lift the full watering can help me with this. For this, if one was placed on day duty with someone one liked, they'd do it all for you, so it'd be cake. No point in blaming her. I give up. I'll just get started. Watering can in hand, just as I was about to leave the building, the old man from the forestry office addressed me. Sonny, there's a vegetable garden behind the warehouse, right? It's all just about dried up. Water that too, would you? Oh, you mean that curry vegetable garden? The one with the potatoes and carrots and other things that are only ingredients for curry? It's definitely the personal garden of our curry-loving teacher, but making students responsible for its upkeep is getting them involved in her personal affairs. I couldn't say that to his face, though, so I gave up and decided to carry out my day duties. The sunlight out front was strong. The great chorus of cicadas was strongly underlining how nothing was different today than yesterday. I passed by the classroom, and I don't know how it happened, but Rena and Satoko were in the middle of a huge melee. Dude, they're playing Smash? That's not cool. That's not cool. While I was gone, the kids had arranged all the desks in a circle, forming a ring while everyone was cheering them on. Yeah, that's how it should be. Once school ended, we would need to return to reality, where talk of the Elder's disappearance would once again be all over the place. I wanted everyone to forget about everything and have fun, just like yesterday, if only while they were at school. In that sense, Satoko's whirling elbow and Rena's backwards flying spin kick made for a pleasant sight. Even if, as a result, they flipped over my desk. That's my pencil box. I'll just let it happen today. I set to work, hastily watering everything, wanting nothing more than to be done as soon as possible. That should about do it. No sooner had I thought that than I remembered that I had to water the teacher's curry vegetable garden too. That's such a pain, but I have a feeling it'll come back to bite me if I don't. I gave up, filled the can with water again, and headed behind the warehouse. This was a place students didn't like to go. It was always damp here, and you couldn't discard the possibility of slugs and pill bugs being around. So when I ran across her in a place like that, I was surprised. Whoa! Oh, it's Rika-chan. Don't scare me like that. Rika-chan was just standing there like a puppet, devoid of life. I was the only one who was startled here. Rika-chan didn't even seem to react to my appearance. Rika-chan? Finally, she noticed me. Her expression was clearly abnormal. There was red under her eyes, stained with tears and dirt. There were blades of grass stuck in her hair, too, and her clothes looked as though she'd fallen to the ground. Rika-chan? Are you hurt? Did you fall? No, that isn't it, Rika-chan said in the brightest voice she could manage as she rubbed her eyes. She didn't look anywhere near normal, though. What happened? You weren't sleeping on the storehouse roof and then fell off or anything, did you? Don't worry about me. I have something I want to ask you, Keiichi. Oh, brother. Rika-chan walked over and clung to me. At first, I thought she was playing a trick on me. Eventually, however, I realized it was so that I wouldn't run from the question she was about to ask. I shuddered. What do you want from me? She looked straight into my eyes. Her upturned eyes bored right into me. It was as though they were trying to pull the answer out of my own eyes without actually asking me the question. It was scary, so I averted my eyes from hers. Keiichi, did you do something bad on the night of the festival? My body gave a jolt from its very core. No, not me stare. Rika-chan, who was clinging to me, might have felt my shiver. A nervous tingle crawled up from my feet, and after going up my back and freezing my entire body, it made its way into my brain. Keiichi, do you really not remember? My head began to throb. I don't understand anything. I gotta be right back. I'm going to fill up my drink. You can stay here with the inverted colors Rika. And an advertisement so that I can turn off pre-rolls for an hour. I gotta be super careful with my voice today. I'm gonna start getting that jolting in my arm when I talk too much. Is that like a real thing? Am I like... Let's see. Yes, there is no Google results for what I'm having. Myoclonus, maybe. No, this doesn't seem like what I have. Dude, normal forms. Hiccups, which are normal unless they last a couple of days or more. People have hiccups that last more than like 30 minutes? That's freaky. Huh. Well, I'm probably healthy. It's probably okay. Okay. Mion asked me. Oishi-san asked me. Shion asked me. And now Rika-chan was asking me. That lasted a week? There's no way. That's like deadly. That is insane. Hiccups that last a full week? That's insane. We thought nobody knew about what we did last night, but in fact, everyone knew? Right? They all knew, and they came to ask me. Again and again until I admitted it. When I thought about it, it was pretty clear the whole thing was out in the open. After all, don't Tomitake-san's and Takano-san's deaths prove it? Keiichi? How should I respond? We never should have entered the Forbidden Storehouse, and even though I regretted it so much, was she saying it wasn't enough? However, I had all but decided what I was going to say. I'm not exactly a good kid, you know? I've done lots of bad things, so I can't remember anything specific. Just as I had with all the others, I evaded the question. Rika-chan stared up at me with innocent eyes. Her eyes were so painful that I had to look away. After a few moments of mutual silence, Rika-chan released me. I'm sorry for asking you something strange. Please forget about it, she said, smiling her usual smile. Then, tap, 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 she went running off as if nothing had happened. As she retreated in silence, I could feel her accusing me. Rika-chan. If she didn't hear my voice, then I was going to give up. However, she heard it. Rika-chan swiveled around and waited for me to continue. I was the one who had questions now. Still, asking any of them could just be a half-assed way of admitting what I did. Hey, Rika-chan. What is it? If everyone knows anyway, then I should be able to at least ask this, right? Why is everyone asking me about the night of the festival? That evening, had I done something that wrong? I felt plenty sorry about it, and I only looked anyway. I didn't break anything or steal anything, really. Still, Tomitake-san and Takano-san, they died so miserably. Since those two had come to such an end, there's obviously no way it would forgive only me. Rika-chan cutely tilted her head in confusion and waited for me to say something. If I were to admit what happened that night, though, she might suddenly do a 180 as if flipping a switch. That would make sense. Rika-chan was the Shrine Maiden. She was the least likely to forgive me for breaking the taboo, wasn't she? Upon reflection, wouldn't telling her be more terrifying than telling Mion or Oishi-san? I'm already starting to get it. It's been barely half an hour, and I'm already getting it. That's really annoying. Rika-chan could just give up and leave, couldn't she? She didn't. She only was quietly waiting for me to say it myself. Say it, Keiichi Maibara. If you really are sorry, then you should say so. Of course, it's normal to hesitate, given the crazy way Tomitake-san and Takano-san died. A pulping machine called Chaos was grinding up my brain. The juice wrung out of it turned into big droplets of sweat, which began to fall. Keiichi. Rika-chan suddenly straightened up, trying to pat me on the head. I don't really understand what you're worried about, Keiichi. I had nothing to say to that. I lowered my head a little so that Rika-chan's palm could reach it. She petted me, kind of like one would pet a cat. Do you know about the big storehouse a little way behind the shrine grounds? It stores the implements we use for rituals. My breath literally stopped. Rika-chan, though, wasn't acting in a coercive way at all. Apparently, on the night of a festival, a cat snuck into the storehouse. A cat? Yes, a cat. Meow meow. Rika-chan knew. She realized I was in fear. I could tell she was desperately trying to choose the right words so that she wouldn't scare me. The cat always wanted to explore inside of the storehouse, but I was mean to it and never let it go inside. So, on the night of the festival, the cat couldn't hold itself any longer and went inside. The cat. It was clearly supposed to be Takano-san. Or wait, was it supposed to be me? Inside, there were actually lots of things that scared the cat. Rika-chan made a cute gesture like a ghost was coming out to frighten me. The cat was both terrified and amazed. It ran away as fast as it could. Clatter, clatter, shiver, shiver, meow, meow. It was terrible. This cat, who are you saying it was? The cat is a cat. Meow, meow. Yeah, I know, right? That was pretty much my first thought. I was like, gee, I wonder. Rika-chan still avoided saying it. The cat, though, was without a doubt me. Rika-chan, please, tell me. The cat, what should it do now? Maybe it was a desperate question to ask. I had sort of admitted to being the cat. The cat is just a cat, so it can just keep meowing and everything will be fine. Everything will be fine? That's stupid. Shouldn't it just keep meowing? Geez, Rika-chan and I have put together an entire conversation using cat as a code word. I didn't say it directly, but I had already admitted it. I didn't want to end up being like those two. Meow. I didn't want to be a sacrifice, like Shion said. That's what I thought, so I stubbornly remained silent. But now, that's enough. It can't just keep meowing. The dog saw the cat making mischief and sneaking inside. The dog. That's right, it was the dog. It keeps coming to the cat and trying to get it to say that it snuck inside. After I said that, Rika-chan's expression clouded over. She was trying to hide it, but I'd already noticed her eyes darkening. Rika-chan... The silence was frightening, so I spurred her on. At that point, Rika-chan grinned. Don't do the eyes thing. Don't do the eyes thing. It's alright. I'll protect the cat. Huh? I thought for a moment that I had misheard those words, so dependable they were. The cat is really scared, but it really isn't all that bad. I think all of the dogs are just misunderstanding. It's not all that bad? The cat is worrying too much. I'll do something about it for sure. Rika-chan will do something about it? Who the heck is Riku? I don't even know left from right at the moment, so Rika-chan didn't look all that dependable. It might be hard, but I'll do my best. Go for it. Yay. She clenched her fist and stuck it in the air. Rika-chan said that the cat can just keep meowing. She said to leave it all to her. Is that really all it took to resolve this whole thing? Will you really be alright, Rika-chan? If I don't do my best, then something bad could happen to the dogs too. I had no idea what Rika-chan was talking about anymore. She had been talking to me under the assumption that I was aware of certain things. So at first, I understood her. Around the middle, though, I stopped understanding anything. However, one thing I did know was to not worry and to leave it to her. Rika-chan straightened up once again, patted me on the head, and smiled. I was so moved by that reassuring feeling that I couldn't help but start to cry. I'm sorry. The cat. It really was just a little bit of mischief. It didn't think any of this would... It's too much of a scaredy cat. That's why it should never have seen the storehouse. She was right. It was far too shocking for someone to see based on a little bit of interest alone. That's why they made it so difficult to look at in the first place, wasn't it? Rika-chan, what will happen to the cat? Two of the cats that snuck in, well, that night, I'd heard Tomitake-san and Takano-san's deaths were being kept a secret. Rika-chan might not have known about it. Tomitake and Takano? I gave a start at the sudden mention of actual names, though it's weird to do that at this point. You should forget about them. My spine froze again. Forget? Yes, it won't do you any good to remember those two, Keiichi. The more you think about it, the scarier it will get. So you should forget about them as soon as possible. She said something so enormously terrifying without letting the smile on her face waver at all. I don't know where you heard about it from, but you should forget everything. Make your mind clean as a scrubbed bathtub. Forget? Rika-chan, you know, don't you? You know how those two died. No matter how they died, it has nothing to do with you, Keiichi. Rika declared this in a flat voice. Nothing to do with me, so forget about it. The girl before me, she was innocent and lovable, and even seemed trustworthy, but suddenly she took on another dimension. Don't get involved with their deaths. I'll help you, Keiichi. Those two contradictory statements twisted and distorted my image of the girl in front of me. What about Shion? What'll happen to her? It might have been dangerous to mention Shion's name, but I couldn't stop myself from asking. Rika-chan saw through everything anyway. There was no way I was going to fool her or keep anything from her at this point. The younger of the sister cats? Meow meow. Yeah, the little sister cat. Rika-chan appeared to think upon this for a moment. It was hard for me to endure even this momentary silence. The big sister cat is angry. The little sister cat did something bad, so she's really mad. The big sister cat. That could only mean Neon. I recall being questioned by her yesterday. Keiichi, the big sister cat is not in a good mood at all. I think we should leave her alone for a while. Not in a good mood. Those words sent a shiver through me. Neon was mad. She was mad that we entered the ritual storehouse. Let's stop having club from now on. Huh? Why? I think we should leave her alone. Rika-chan ended her sentence with such force that I couldn't say anything in response. Hey, Keiichi Maibara, don't disobey Rika-chan right now. She's the only one who said she'll help me right now. I'll leave things to her, just as she said to. I mean, she even said that the cat should just keep meowing. I'll forget everything, like she said. I'll leave everything to her. I'll forget everything about Takano-san and Tomitake-san and what I did that night. It's time to go inside. Just then, we heard a bell, far away, marking the end of our lunch break. I guess we should go back to class. Keiichi. As if she had noticed how miserable I was, about to leave everything to her and flee the scene, Rika-chan called out to stop me. If the misunderstanding dog comes to try and bite the cat, please tell me, okay? The misunderstanding dog. She put it in such a cute-sounding way, but the true meaning behind those words was an eerie one. Who is the misunderstanding dog? Come on, bro, it's Oishi. The dog that bit the mayor. I don't know why it did that. If it was going to bite anyone, it would have been the trickster cat first. The flow of blood in my body felt like it completely stopped for a moment. Rika-chan had admitted it. The sacrifices of that terrible calamity, she admitted that if they were to happen again, it would be Shion or I. I didn't know what was true about the girl standing before me. My suspicion gave way to fear and nearly began to charge into anger. Was she a savior who would protect me, or a stranger trying to capture and kill me for the sake of a horrible tradition? What a great question. I think we're a bit beyond the kind god rhetoric. I had no idea what was true. I'm sorry. The cat is already scared, and I said something to scare it even more. I'm really sorry. Rika-chan bowed so quickly it looked like her head had been pulled downward. Still, she was right. I was cowering. I could distinctly feel my body shaking violently. So when Rika-chan reached out her hand to pat me on the head, I pulled away without thinking. Ah, Rika-chan made a very sad face, but I just couldn't bring myself to put out my head for her again. That day, Rika-chan said she wasn't feeling up for club activities that day, so she suggested we not bother. There's always vetoes when someone doesn't feel up to it. Rena and the others seemed really disappointed. The big sister cat is not in a good mood. I remembered Rika-chan's words and quietly stole a glance at Mion's expression. If I could forget the way she questioned me yesterday, though, her behavior was the same as it always was. Man. Sorry, I didn't mean it. Don't worry about it, everyone. After dinner, without the energy to watch TV, I climbed into the futon in my bedroom and let my head be overtaken by gloomy thoughts. I told Rika-chan anything and everything. She had seemed trustworthy at the time, but had that really been the right choice? The more I looked back on it, the less I understood what Rika-chan was saying. Not only did she know about Takano-san and Tomitake-san's deaths, but she spoke of them as if she were a concerned party. After all this time in my futon, I began to tremble fiercely. Had I been lured in by Rika-chan's sweet smile and told her things that I shouldn't have? I should have continued to feign ignorance. I shouldn't have shown her such a weak side of me. My emotions are a mix of regret and fear, and it colored the darkness of the night with an additional layer of terror. I think she's okay. I think Rika-chan is trustworthy here. I might be gullible, but I think she's normal. Suddenly, a knock. I might have yelped. That's how surprised I was. Keiichi, I've been calling your name for a while. You have a phone call. It's from Sonozaki-san. It was Dad. I reached out for the cordless phone through the gap in my door. Sonozaki-san, which one? The older sister or the younger? I don't know. Ask her yourself. I took the receiver and buried myself in my futon again. Hello? Mion? Or is it Shion? It's me. Shion. Good evening. I practically jumped out of bed. It's Mion pretending to be Shion, to lure the truth out of him. That's true. It was Shion, who I hoped so desperately would call me back last night. Shion, sorry about last night. I got all riled up. I heard what sounded like a deep sigh on the other end. You and me are in the same position, aren't we? I shouldn't have blamed you for everything like that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, so please, cheer up. I called you because I'm in a better mood. If you're sorry, then I'll forgive you, so please stop apologizing. Shion's tone still sounded a little angry, but for the moment she said she'd forgive me. You're right, too. We're tied to the same fate. Making sure the other is alright is the only way to guarantee our own safety. Yeah, I agree. We absolutely need to share whatever information we have, so that we don't die like Takano-san and Tomitake-san did. Gulp. I forced myself to swallow a solid drop of saliva. Then, let's continue from where we left off. You'll listen without getting angry this time, right? Yeah, I'll be fine. Firstly, it seems sneaking into the ritual storehouse was more of a taboo than we thought. Takano-san and Tomitake-san's miserable ends, terrible enough that you could call them a warning, they were more than enough to make me believe that. The culprits killed those two, the ones responsible for sullying the storehouse, and they'll come for us next. I know you want to deny that, but please accept it. It'll be too late to believe me after you've disappeared, okay? I got it. You can never be too careful, after all. I don't want to accept it either. To think that sneaking a peek at that museum of torture devices deserves a death like that, I don't want to believe it. That's what a taboo is. For those who honor it, if one breaks the taboo, no matter how small or innocent their intentions were, they wouldn't be forgiven. Let's report anything we notice that seems strange. If we connect all the tiny pieces that we have, then just maybe we'll find out who killed them, or maybe even the truth behind the incidents of previous years. We can find the key that'll resolve everything. You're right. You're right about that. All I was doing was waiting in fear, but Shion had already thought that far ahead. Given how trustworthy she felt, I became embarrassed over how passive I was being. Then I'll start, since I suggested it. I feel like somebody has been watching me lately. What? It might be my imagination, but I'll tell you anyway. I think it's just me, but if you feel like you're being watched too, Kei-chan, then maybe it's not just my imagination. Well, don't worry. At the very least, everything's been fine for me. I think. As I spoke with Shion, I thought back on today. I had no grounds to say that everything was fine. I see. Then I suppose it was my imagination, but you be careful too, Kei-chan. Be especially careful when you're by yourself in public. I'm in Okinomiya, so I won't be alone very often, but you live in Hinamizawa. There will be a lot of times you'll be alone. Please be extra careful. You're right. Yeah, I'll be careful. Also, about my sister, has she been acting strange lately? Your sister? Oh, Mion, right. What do you mean by acting strangely? Well, yesterday, she came to me and asked where I was on the night of the Watanagashi. What? She asked me, too. The day before yesterday, I think, Mion asked me. I see. I told her I wasn't there. What did you say? I did the same thing. I just dodged the question. Both of us gave a quiet sigh of relief. Ever since the night of the festival, my sister has been acting strangely. We can't be too careful, so just be aware, okay? Mion was acting strangely. Aside from her asking me about the night of the Watanagashi, she hadn't seemed too out of the ordinary. At least, from my point of view. Her twin sister, though, was saying she was acting weird. Maybe it was such a slight change that a stranger like me wouldn't be able to notice. Got it. I'll start being careful. I always have Rena with me on my way back from school, so I shouldn't end up alone with Mion very often. Please, be careful. What is with, pretty much all my friends and just randomly being like, yeah, I'm back now. You never said you left. I didn't know you were gone. Welcome back, but, you're just pretending like everybody knew that you were not here. If there's anything that's bothering you, you can tell me. Alright. I literally says it. Okay, well you said I'll see myself out, but I thought that was a joke. Okay, then is there anything you want to tell me, Kei-chan? My turn. That's right. Maybe I should report on Oishi-san asking me the same question at the library. Oh, that time when you were too slow to escape? Yeah. Oishi-san asked me pretty forcefully whether I was with Takano-san and Tomitake-san that night and whether I had seen you. Oishi-san seemed to have seen the four of us together. From the police's point of view, that would make us the last people who had seen them. I suppose, given that, it's only natural that they'd be interested in us. I evaded the questions then, too, but that might have just made them more interested. There was no way I could have tricked that sly old fox Oishi-san. My troubled countenance would have only made him more even certain. Would only have made him even more certain. Hey, Shion, since they're police, shouldn't we just tell them? I mean, considering our situation, I think having them on our side would be a good thing. Shion didn't answer right away. For a few moments, all I could hear was her breathing as she thought about it. Now that I think about it, Oishi-san said that there was something possibly shady about Mion. At least, I think that's what he said. Yeah, he definitely did. As I explained yesterday, the Sonozaki family holds a lot of influence over Hinamizawa. Oishi is under the impression that the whole village, with the Sonozaki family at the center of it all, is responsible for the recurrent freak deaths. The whole village is behind them, with the Sonozaki family at the center? Please, don't get angry like you did yesterday and just listen. I hammered that home before I got too upset. Bato. During the Hinamizawa Dam Wars, the priest who everyone was anticipating to lead the anti-dam movement acted as though he were unrelated, so the Sonozaki main house rose up to the charge. My sister told you all about the battles that happened, right? Yeah, all of Hinamizawa got together and fought as one. They held protests, brought it to court, and even appeared on TV. In reality, there were many things that happened that were far more extreme. Under the surface, the Sonozaki main house was doing all sorts of illegal things to oppose it. They were acting illegally? For example, they would sneak into the construction site in the middle of night and steal equipment, or break it, or put sugar cubes in the gasoline tanks of the construction vehicles. Sugar in their gasoline tanks? Why would they... You don't know? It's practically the representative guerrilla tactic. It was used by underground organizations in France in World War World War II for one. When you put sugar in, the engine gets burned out and breaks down. That's pretty bad, though, isn't it? It was destruction of property and nothing less. When they beefed up the guard at the construction facility, the family turned to attacking important construction personnel who worked there. The government officials who had given permission for the construction, for example, received all kinds of threats. Not just people from the prefectural office, either. Apparently this reached as far as the Ministry of Construction. As far as I've heard, they even kidnapped a child once. Kidnapped? Yes, the child of an important person in the Ministry of Construction who was in charge of the Hinamizawa Dam got spirited away. Then, one day, all of a sudden, he was rescued in the Takatsuda Mountains, which are upstream from Hinamizawa. Apparently, there were never any criminal accusations, but people whispered it had been a threat to stop the dam construction from happening. You better stop that dam construction from happening. Besides that, there are stories about so many different threats that I couldn't possibly list them all. Wow, that's sort of bad, isn't it? Right in the middle of the whole thing, the first incident happened. That's when the dismemberment of the construction manager occurred. People whispered that the Sonozaki family had bought out the principal offender, but of course he fled and they still haven't found him. When she put it that way, the Sonozaki family definitely seems suspicious. Oishi-san even seems to think that the criminal was erased, so he wouldn't talk. You're gonna construct a golf course there? No, it's okay. This isn't the U.S. And he's gonna spend $200,000 of tax money to get there. So true, so true. Which is pretty reasonable of him. It's even enough to make me think that the Sonozaki main house is doing some really shady things behind the scenes, even though I'm related to them. Are you telling me to believe that? That the Sonozaki main house, where Mion lives, has done all those bad things? You're telling me to believe it? Even if you don't, Kei-chan, the villagers do. While they oppose the dam in upright and lawful ways, the Sonozaki house did the dirty work for them. Everyone believes that. Everyone believes that they fought at the front so they'd take the brunt of the criticism. Is my mouse already... There's no way it's already scratched up. Maybe it's just a fingerprint. No, I made it all up. Go back to bed. That would be like credits roll. So they're respected as sort of heroes of darkness. That is true. Literally, like, on the night of Otanagashi, she was like, nah, it's okay, I was just joking. But the thing is, she was not joking. She wants Keiichi to think that she was joking. I think I only really know one part of it. For example, the really bad stuff like the kidnapping, I think only a handful of people even know about it, including Grandma. The Sonozaki family is secretive, after all. Secretive, huh? A family so unforthcoming that even Shion, who is related to them, doesn't know everything about them. The Sonozaki family. I like how it's like, is related to them. No, she is them, bro. She is a part of the family. It's not like some distant relation. Unlike Shion, her older twin Mion was deeply involved with everything, and that was not a fun thought to entertain. Dude, she died! My sister, though young, was the one who acted as the center of the illegal resistance movement. Mion was... What do you mean? Well, our dad is a big-shot Yakuza. So you gotta do like one of those like circle memes where like you circle Big Shot, point to Spamton, circle Yakuza, point to Yakuza 0. So much brain rot. Even when she was little, my sister managed to subjugate a bunch of young street rats. Then she played all sorts of tricks on them and just generally got in their way. Mion did that? Now she's pretty laid back, so it might be hard to imagine. They put her in charge of everything, from property damage to threats and even acts of violence. Though, since she was a kid, they could get her released pretty easily. Yeah, I'm saying the same thing, and by continue I mean load up my save from 5 years ago. It was literally like winter of 2020 that I started playing that. I think I need to just start from scratch. But it's one of those games that I'm like, yeah, that's next on my list after I finish one of the 20 games that I'm currently playing right now, and then I never play any of those. She learned that her age could be used as a weapon. It may have been indiscreet, but I couldn't help but chuckle dryly. She may have been young, but she was certainly still Mion. Another email? Oh, payment acknowledgement. Even back then, she had already been known for her craftiness. Your royal craftiness? It's nothing to laugh about. Please, take this seriously. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Shion had gotten pretty angry at me. Well, her delinquency soon got her into a position of authority in the Sonozaki main house. It's not unthinkable that Oishi suspects them for the dismemberment incident, and the later ones too. For a few moments, I was dumbstruck at the tales of Mion's past. None of them matched the image I had of her. A younger Mion, dirtying her hands with all sorts of crimes, giving the dam construction project hell. As the successor to the Sonozaki main family, she was always right at the center of the vortex for strange incidents occurring year after year. Was that really the Mion I know? Maybe the one I know isn't the real Mion. Due to average Chilean PC? I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't bring myself to accept that these images of Mion I was hearing... I couldn't bring myself to accept these images of Mion I was hearing from another person. Well, back to the main subject. I just wanted you to know that my sister is someone worth being cautious around. Please, be careful. I didn't want to understand. Mion was a fantastic friend. She would never do something to back me into a corner like that. She did ask me pretty harshly about the night of the festival, but even that, it wasn't like she'd said it in a mean way or anything. I banned this guy for 10,000 minutes. Alright, I'll make sure to be careful. We're sisters related by blood, but within the Sonozaki family, we're basically of a different class. I want you to recognize how distant they are from me. Please. The more Shion tells me about Mion, the less I understand who Mion is. Why are you, not questioning Shion, though? I understand you're both in hot water right now, but... why... I don't get it. The Mion I know wasn't a dangerous person. She joked around, smiled a lot, and was full of passion. Now that I'd realized I held such a view towards her, Shion was telling me to change it. To be careful around the best friend ever. Yeah, literally. To doubt her. The idea was very sad and painful. Now, about Oishi. If you think it's a good idea, then I think we should give him the information he needs. I think getting the police on our side will work in our favor. You thought so too, Shion. It's just, at the moment, like I explained, the police have their eyes on the Sonozaki family already. Oishi in particular completely believes that they're the masterminds behind the serial incidents. Yeah, but it was funnier when Carter said it, because didn't get it when you said it. That includes me, of course. So I don't really want much to do with Oishi. I see. If wait. Oh. If Oishi-san had found out about the Sonozaki family's strife-filled history, then he probably wouldn't be very happy with Shion either. You banned me. It's true, you did ban them. They kind of deserve to steal your joke. At last, I understood Mion's instinctive dislike for Oishi-san. It's probably out in the open at this point, but try not to give my name to him. If you agree to that, then I don't think there's a problem with you telling him anything. I got it. I won't mention your name. The police's investigative ability should be quite a reliable weapon for us right now. If Oishi tells you anything interesting, then let me know as well. Yeah, of course. We'll share information and investigate together. Who killed Takano-san and Tomitake-san? Who was after us? Until we know, we need to defend ourselves. Anything else? Besides what Oishi told you, I mean? If anything has happened, no matter how minor, please tell me. Aside from my discussion with Oishi-san, he's not going to tell her about everything with Rika. I'm calling that right now. Oh. Should I tell her that I revealed everything to Rika-chan? Rika-chan was acting like she knew something I didn't. She told me to leave it to her, but what? Ah, that's right. When I was talking to her, I mentioned Shion's name too. Was that a mistake? I felt like Shion would get angry. Nothing else? Kei-chan? I had remained quiet for a little while, so Shion encouraged me to speak, unable to bear the silence. As I struggled with what to say, Shion addressed me instead. It doesn't sound like it, so can I ask you something? I just heard this myself. Is it true that old man Kimiyoshi went missing? The old man Kimiyoshi? My gut told me that was the name of the mayor. You mean the mayor? Wait, Shion, you haven't heard? I don't know anything. I just overheard my dad talking about it on the phone again. I realized I shouldn't have said that. Here in Hinamizawa, the things that happened around this time when Oyashiro-sama's curse would recur would all be covered up. Yeah. Actually, last night, after a meeting, he didn't come home, so all of Hinamizawa was confused. They searched all through the village, but if they found him, then I haven't heard. The police should be searching for him as well. Why didn't you tell me something that important right away? What was that noise? She shouted angrily at me, bringing all her emotion to bear. Sorry, I thought you already knew. I didn't want to hide it or anything. The receiver was silent. Did Shion get mad again and hang up? Hey, Shion, hello? Kei-chan, what? What should I do? I don't make funny noises. I'm normal. I don't make noises. I'm normal. Shion's tiny, confused voice sounded like it belonged to a different person than the one yelling at me a few seconds ago. What's wrong? Tell me. We're not keeping secrets from each other, right? What do you mean a funny accent? I do not have an accent. I speak in the most normal English possible. That's not true. What do you mean it's true? See? Sorry. Sorry. That's how you say sorry. This is normal. I'm not saying sorry. It's sorry. I speak normally. Normal English is from England. No, it's not. They think they invented the language, but they say all the words wrong. Wa'o-ba'o. Like, grow up. Shion hesitated for a long while, but then she confessed. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hide it. It was just that, the conversation got turned around, and we're on the same side, right? I won't get mad, so tell me honestly. Yes, I say Zed. That's what it's called. It's called Zed. Do you think we made that just to be different? Americans invented Z because they're too stupid to remember more than 3 different letter sounds. Shion still hesitated for a few moments. Then, in a resigned voice, she continued. Old man Kimiyoshi, I told him everything. Shion seemed to think that I would yell at her right after she said that, so I heard her catching her breath. Contrary to what she thought, I was a little relieved. Shion had done the same thing I had when I confessed everything to Rika-chan. So, in gentle of a voice as I could, so as to not set her off, I responded. Old man Kimiyoshi, he's someone you feel comfortable confiding in, Shion? Yes. When I was little, he was really nice to me. Shion felt the same pain as the rest of us from the mayor's disappearance. She had a different kind of strength from Mion, and as she continued, her voice sounded truly sad and pained. All I did was play tricks on him, but he would always just smile. He listened to anything I had to say. He was such a kind person. Calm down, Shion. It's not like he's dead, right? Oh no, you're so right! Rika's gonna go missing now because there were 2 deaths and 2 disappearances, and she's gonna be the other one. Oh. It's so over. Don't lose heart so easily. Shion didn't answer. Even as I said it myself, I didn't think we'd ever find the missing mayor again. We probably wouldn't even figure out if he was alive or dead. Shion must have been thinking the same thing. That night... gonna be a demon or disappear. No, she's not gonna be a demon. I trust that she's like on the good side in this situation. Maybe that's naive of me, but that night I told the mayor that we snuck into the ritual storehouse. Also that someone saw us and was out to get us. Does the mayor know how absurdly Takano-san and Tomitake-san died? Yes, he knew about it. I told him that they died by Orishio-sama's curse, and that I could be made a sacrifice to calm his anger. I just said it straight out. Right. What then? Old man Kimiyoshi didn't get angry. He smiled, then told me that if I was properly sorry about it, there was no way I'd be demoned away. He was really smiling, and he told me to leave... Holy fuck. Until Shion started sobbing, I was unable to find any words for her. I couldn't imagine what kind of person the mayor was, nor what Shion's relationship with him was like. Words of comfort, however, mean so much to us when we're about to be crushed by anxiety. Today, Rika-chan taught me that too. If someone who gave me such a sense of security were to disappear, then I could guess what kind of shock Shion was in. It's my fault, because I revealed everything. Stop it, Shion. It's not your fault. No, it is my fault. I told him everything. Old man Kimiyoshi found out about everything. So he has to have been killed. It was right after I told him, after all. He disappeared the same night that I confessed, and he told me everything was going to be all right. He found out, so he became involved. I should never have told him. All of this should have just been our fault. Only the 4 of us. It wasn't something I should have told to someone else. He got killed because I told him. He got killed because he knew. He got killed because I revealed it. Hey, stop! If they were doing that, then they would have obviously killed you before killing the mayor. The order is all wrong. You or I should have been killed first. Why the hell would someone else get killed first? No, it's in order. They must be planning to kill us last of all. What? They're not killing the first people who come to mind. They start by killing those we're close to. Then after they've caused us so much pain, they'll kill us. That must be what they're doing. I said calm down. Shion, you're in shock. You're panicking. The mayor's disappearance has nothing to do with you. It's unconnected. It's not related to Takano-san and Tomitake-san dying at all, either. My words came out as a scream, as if I were shouting them at myself. No, it is connected. It just has to be. I told him, so he was killed. He got killed because he knew. I confessed it to him, so he got killed. She repeated the same thing as before, as though she were in a delirium. Despite me trying to console the crazed Shion, for some reason, the shadow at my feet began to freeze. From that shadow, a cold arm reached out, so cold it seemed like it would freeze even just my heart by touching me, and grabbed my ankle. The heat generated by my body, the arm was absorbing it. What is he talking about? It was a horrible chill. A freezing cold, numbingly frigid. It was an inviolable chill of fear. Though I sympathized with Shion, I had been naive in thinking it was something only she had to worry about. In my head, Shion's eerie words repeated again and again. He was killed because I told him. He was killed because he found out. I confessed everything. So he was killed. Those words echoed through my mind like a monotone mantra, and finally, those even repetitions took on meaning. The quiet shaking that had already overtaken me turned into a violent shiver that shot up my spine. Rika-chan! It's Rika-chan! What? What did you say just now? Well, the truth is, I told her about it. I told Rika-chan today. Rika-chan, you mean Rika-chama? The one from the Furude shrine? Yes, Rika-chan. I felt so scared and uneasy that I did it. I told Rika-chan. When you did, what did she say? To leave it all to her. The cat is worrying too much. I'll do something about it for sure. That's what Rika-chan said, and then she smiled. She smiled just like the missing mayor had when he encouraged Shion. I'm sorry, Shion. I'm worried about Rika-chan. Ah, right. If you're that concerned, then don't worry about me. Please, go find out whether she's safe. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll call you again tomorrow at the same time. When I do, you'll know I'm still alright. I got it. I'll be waiting. Okay, bye. Sorry. I'm hanging up. I put down the receiver without waiting for Shion to say goodbye. The danger to Shion and myself was secondary at this point. My sixth sense was blaring alarms in my head. I don't like this feeling. It's really bad. It's definitely bad. Damn it. Please be safe, Rika-chan. Okay, and just cut it there. Why not? Oh, please be okay, Rika. It's a bit different, because the dude didn't know anything. And, Shion revealed everything to him. Whereas Rika already knew and was letting us know that she knew. Why didn't I get an achievement for that? Broken achievement. Most reliable Steam achievement. There's probably just not one for this. That's crazy, man. I don't like this at all. What to do? It's going to run an ad in 10 minutes. Should I just run it now and let it be over with? I don't want it to be during the chapter, so... Okay, I will run it and use the washroom in the meantime. Everybody noticing that my stream bitrate has increased since yesterday? It went up 2,000 extra kilobits per second. I ran the auto config tool again, and it was like, hey, you want to try the enhanced broadcasting or something? So now it's like triple transcoding, so you can watch in 480p if you want or whatever. Something like that. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. Okay. I'll be right back. enjoy your advertisement. Hello, hello. I am back. You didn't get any ads? Dude! That's not cool, man. Yeah, I do need a better BRB screen. I wonder how hard it is to... Let's see if I can... Let's put an image in here. I guess documents? No. Oh, what the... Where's all my stuff? Here we go. I don't know why I never carried this stuff over. Let's see if I can find my... It's probably in assets. My empty banner. This one. Purple jump scare? So if I take this, is there like a scroll? Make you a little bigger. That scroll is a little noticeable. I need to figure out how to fix that. But if I do that, and then put you below my webcam, I can turn off my webcam and then have that there. Probably slow it down. Text. I feel so Sigma. I don't remember what font my logo is in. What is happening? Is it this one? That might be it. Teeny tiny. Put that right down there. That can go right above the image. It's September, which is happening next month again. Give me an outline. There we go. Maybe that works. That'll probably look a bit better than, like, being able to see my screen in here. So 100? No, that's way too much. That's like more followers than I have. Why don't you have PayPal, bro? Just set it up. It's not that hard. I am still here though. I think that probably looks fine. But yeah, I should probably figure out some music, but oh well, oh well. I'm going to do the Wordle. Nope, definitely not that one. Yeah. Okay, everybody make sure to look away right now. If you don't want to see the word, this is your only warning. That was such a good guess, though. I already did it. And should I even talk out loud? Maybe not. That's gotta be it. Yippee! I've been getting good scores lately. I think in the last week I've had like twice where I got it in 2. And then this one's in 3. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I'm just a genius? What did you get it in? You didn't post it. I can't help it, man. I'm just too smart. Ugh, I don't like doing this, but it is really hot in my room right now. You posted it now? Okay, you did it in 1 more than me. And you had 4 out of 5 greens on your second last. Let's not act like you're... Do you guys like my shameless self-promo of the place that I work at? That, well, maybe I shouldn't say much more. I'm actually going to change out of this. Be right back. Alright. Do we fuck with the fit right now? The plain gray t-shirt and the plain gray sweatpants. Incredible, right? The dog loves it. I'm back. Oh yeah, I guess you missed my self-promotion of where I work. Because I was still wearing my work shirt, so I had to change. Okay. Bum 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 bum. GameStop? No. We don't have GameStop in Canada. That is actually true. I mean, now that you've said that, that's not true. Because I'll be like, what is this Chilean person who can only speak broken English doing in my EB games? How did he get here? I gotta sneeze. I got no light to look at. Okay, let's continue. View new tips. Another from the scrapbook. The three families in modern times. As previously described, the Three Families Council today is a mere shell of democracy. In reality, it is a dictatorship run by the Sonozaki family. My really identifiable accent? Yeah, fair enough. I don't know what a Chilean accent sounds like. It's okay, I'll get the aerial face reveal someday. No matter what it takes. Both the Kimiyoshi and Furude families are far from their former glory, and it doesn't seem at all like they've maintained the ancient traditions. Only the Sonozaki family has retained their glory from the past and has inherited many colorful traditions from the age known as Onigafuchi Village. Even the most recent verifiable example of Watanagashi that occurred at the end of the Meiji era seems to have been done under the orders of the Sonozaki family. I will literally never reveal my face. You will all be kept in the dark. Permanently, forever. Sorry, 1 second. Refer to the three families' genealogical tree from the late Meiji. After the start of the Meiji era, the Sonozaki family wanted to push the development of Hinamizawa village, so they took a strong role in leadership. During the dam wars a few years ago, the Kimiyoshi family served as the chair of the opposition alliance, but this was in name only. In actuality, the Sonozaki family reigned as leader behind the scenes. People whisper that perhaps the Kimiyoshi family dictated acts of opposition that could be publicized, and the Sonozaki family enacted those which could not. Even in Hinamizawa, they whisper that the multitude of unsettling incidents reported during the dam protests, such as the kidnapping of the famous head of the Ministry of Construction's son, had been carried out by the Sonozakis. Additionally, they say that perhaps the Sonozaki family's secret maneuvering was responsible for the secret freak death incidents that have continuously occurred in recent years as well. The serial freak death incidents are without a doubt the second coming of the traditional Watanagashi. They must be enacting the Watanagashi on the day of the original Watanagashi, which has fallen to the level of an ordinary village festival in order to remind the villagers of the holy laws of Onigafuchi village. It's safe to assert that exploring the Sonozaki family is the fastest route for researching it today. If I can expose the contents of the Furude Shrine's storehouse, I'd like to narrow my research target to the Sonozaki family next. The Sonozaki house is strictly guarded by security cameras on the premises, but thankfully I've become acquainted with the sisters Mion, the next heir, and Shion. I want this to be a breakthrough I can connect to my next line of research. Really? So she became acquainted with Mion as well. I guess that's why Mion knows about what we've been doing. But she did also say that some people have been... She said, I'll tell everyone that you're not involved. Their punishment isn't over. No, don't worry about it. You see, when you order the Odin here, for some reason, it ends up on the annual invoice for our gas contracts. So don't be shy and have another drink. The man, red-faced, waved his hand to say that he'd had enough, and disappeared into the brilliant neon lights in front of the station. Kuma-chan, you should be taking notes. The most modest people are the ones who live the longest. Was all that true? Well, I don't know about that. Whether or not it's true, I think there's some meaning in hearing something that sounds so plausible. Would something like that be a motive to go for the mayor? Kuma-chan, here's what I always say. The motive only has to be enough for the person in question. You need to think about how different people value different things. Hey, bartender, give me another mug. He drinks mug? But they got A&W root beer out. Could be drinking the cream of the crop, man. Though we have been suppressing the information, Tomitaka and Takano's deaths were already known about throughout Hinamizawa. All of the rumors pointed to them having incurred the wrath of Oyashiro-sama for setting foot in the Forbidden Temple, the storehouse for ritual implements. We know what side I'm on. Guys, what one is your favorite? Mug is still okay, as long as we're not talking barks here, then, like, you're mostly okay. All the rumors pointed pointed to them having incurred the wrath of Oyashiro-sama for setting foot in the Forbidden Temple, the storehouse for ritual implements. According to the rumors, there were 2 other people who went in there with them. They both taste the same. You are messed up. We need to kill you. That's just, like, I don't know why you would lie. Why you would just come here and lie. That just doesn't make sense to me. According to the rumors, there were 2 other people who went in there with them, Shion Sonozaki and Keiichi Maibara. People were whispering in the shadows that those 2 would be cursed by Oyashiro-sama as well. Apparently, however, the responsibility didn't fall solely on the 4 trespassers' shoulders. You cannot have barks? They just, like, don't have it there? You should consider yourself lucky. It's the worst of the 3 by far. Heart problem? It's different from the other 2? How do you have a... Really? I actually did not know that. This doesn't have caffeine, right? Erotic root dilation. This guy's just making things up on the spot. Just say you're concerned about your height, bro. It's okay. Until last year, it was locked up tight, but this year it had been changed to a simpler lock. Hadn't that been what allowed thieves to enter so easily? Those were the rumors going around. Crying. It's okay. I'm very smart. Hey, I was the one saying I'm not smart. It was Ori that was gassing me up for no reason. Getting out medical documents. Have you ever seen it, Kuma-chan? I remember it well. I had to go there for something quite a while back. Sorry, I don't really remember. Dude, Keiichi Maibara reference? I don't remember. It was locked up so tight it was scary. There were those real heavy bars holding it shut. It was sealed up as good as a bank vault. Now we are changing details? What are you talking about? When did I say I'm very smart? If you go to the Doles channel in the Discord, it's Ori saying that I'm very smart, which is not true. This year, it was a very simple and cheap padlock. The lone girl protecting the shrine, Rika Furude, disliked the heavy locks and consulted with the mayor. The Doles channel. Yes, the Doles channel. Who had replaced it with a simpler padlock. So then the mayor and Rika Furude share the crime? So then, after the mayor, wouldn't Rika Furude be in danger next? There's a decent possibility. Kuma-chan, I want you to contact all the cars we have in Hinamizawa. Tell them to stick near the Furude shrine. Got it. Please don't kill Rika, dude. I can't go the rest of this chapter without Rika. That would be too sad. Too sad. I don't think I need this open anymore. End of chapter 9. I think I looked up how many chapters were in each chapter, but I don't remember anymore, so that was useless. After hanging up on Shion, I searched for Rika-chan's phone number on my school's contact list. There it is. My fingers trembled with urgency, and I failed multiple times to put in the simple 5-digit number. What? They got 5-digit phone numbers in Japan? What is the Japanese phone number format? Come on. Telephone numbers in Japan. Consists of an area code, an exchange number, and a subscriber number. So that's like sort of the same as here. Ten-digit numbers. This isn't really helpful. Format X, XXXX, XXXX. None of these are 5 digits. I don't know what this guy's yapping about. Keiichi, are you calling someone at this hour? It's late and it's being rude to the other person. That doesn't matter right now. I shouted angrily at my mother, listening to the dial tone. Dial tone? Deltune? Something? Pick up. Come on, pick up. The time was 11 p.m. It certainly wasn't early. It was essentially the middle of the night. Had Rika-chan already gone to bed? Her phone would be ringing constantly, though, so would she get back up for me? Don't -2 me. I am not Germa. I am not Northern Lion. I am not... Probably... I don't know who else does that. Didn't pick up. She didn't pick up. She didn't pick up. Maybe she just happened to miss it. Maybe her bed was just too far away from the phone. The sound of a phone ringing gets clearer and clearer the longer you go on sleeping. Thank you for the +2. I got balanced out. The roaring net, yeah, that one was pretty funny. That was just like, it just instant came to my head. I like couldn't stop myself from saying it. It was crazy. Then the bathroom? Yeah, she must be taking a bath. If that was the case, then even if she heard the phone, she wouldn't be able to pick up. Do not take it back. Good idea. Do not take it back. Yeah. It was a little late to be taking a bath, but it was possible she normally took baths right before going to bed. I'll wait 30 minutes, then try calling again. Even if not Rika, why wouldn't, a family member pick up? Even as I was thinking that, I called her house over and over again. I kept calling. Over and over, again and again, I kept on calling her, but she didn't pick up even once. Oh. Well, I have not heard of the game either way, so if you had not said that, then I never would have known better. She didn't pick up even once. I think I kept trying for about 30 minutes, yet she wasn't picking up. Were my phone calls so persistent that she had gotten scared of picking up the receiver? No, that couldn't possibly be it. There was no point in doing this any longer. The best thing to do would be to go there in person. Where was Rika-chan's house, though? Shit, I've never even asked her where she lived. Her residence was written there in the contact list, but it was an address with mostly numbers, so I couldn't tell where it was just by reading it. Isn't there a map or something in here? Rika Furude. Her last name was Furude. It was a bit of an odd last name, so it might be easy to find. Thinking that, I rummaged around the drawer with the phone book, but could only find things like takeout menus and phone numbers for public establishments. Shit. I tore one thing after another out of the drawer, but I didn't come up with any clues as to where Rika-chan's house was. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. If you don't know, then just ask. Ask someone who does know. That's it. Rena's gotta know. I looked up Rena's phone number on the contact list. Oh, please don't tell me Rena's gone too. Rena Ryugu. There she was. Don't you have Rena's phone number? Hello? This is Ryugu. It was the voice of a grumpy-sounding man. It must have been Rena's father. I'm calling in the middle of the night. I need to be polite. I'm sorry for calling so late at night. This is Maibara. Is there any chance Rena-san is around? Rena is taking a bath. Oh, she's done? Rena, there's a friend of yours on the phone. Oh, right. Rena Ryugu was her real name, wasn't it? I'd gotten so used to calling her Rena that hearing her real name caught me a little off guard. Hello? This is Rena. It's me, Keiichi. Sorry for calling so late. Huh? Keiichi-kun? What do you need at a time like this? Well, actually, I wanted to know where Rika-chan's house is. Rena seemed a little appalled that I'd call her for something like that at this hour. However, she spoke her next words seriously, as if she'd caught on to how urgent my need was. Okay, sure. You know the assembly hall on the grounds of the Furude Shrine? There's a 2-story shack used for storage behind it. That's where she lives. I couldn't immediately visualize the place, but as long as I knew she lived on the shrine grounds, I'd just have to take a look around. Got it. Thanks. Sorry again for calling so late. Apologize to your dad for me too, would you? Okay, but Keiichi-kun, why do you want to know where Rika-chan lives? Rena asked in an unusually sharp way, halting me before I could hang up the phone. I hesitated for a moment about whether to tell her. He was killed because I told him. Keiichi-kun, if you're still listening, could you answer me? Why are you asking where Rika-chan lives at a time like this? Rena affected her usual tone, but beneath her words lay a certain tension, like she'd intuitively sensed something was going on. What will you do, Keiichi? If it's Rena, can't I tell her? He was killed because he found out. I revealed everything, so he was killed. Keiichi-kun? Rena is being serious. Please answer me. Rena asked me once again in a tone so forceful I couldn't imagine her ever using it normally. I was taken aback by her vigor. Rena was Rika-chan's friend, too. She had the right to be concerned about Rika-chan disappearing. If I told Rena, then, even if only for a moment, I could drive away my horrifying fears. Rena, well, I can't exactly tell you why, but yes? Rena's tone was seriousness itself. Just from that tone, I could feel her saying, no matter what you say, Keiichi-kun, I'll believe you. That subtle sense of security gave me the courage to reveal the truth. I have a feeling that Rika-chan is in danger. You mean like a premonition, or do you have some reason to believe she's in danger? I really didn't have time to go back and forth with Rena about this. Still, I think listening to her calm voice soothed my pointless impatience. I don't have much reason, but yet I still hesitated. I had told Rika-chan that we had snuck into the ritual storehouse. The mayor, to whom Shion had confessed before that, had already disappeared. So it was possible that Rika-chan also... I didn't know how to explain it to Rena. While I was tongue-tied, Rena spoke up. Sorry for asking something so weird. I thought about it, and it isn't like you need to be sure. Rena laughed a little, seeming a little absent-minded. I wasn't exactly in the mood to laugh, so this time I was dumbfounded. Rena continued in a cheerful, yet still purposeful voice. You're worried about a friend. I don't think you need a reason to go and check up on them. Even if Rika-chan was asleep and you ended up waking her up, if that was why you did it, then none of us would get mad. Rena, thank you. Okay then, Keiichi-kun, just one thing. You called Rika-chan's house, right? Then you just couldn't get through, so that's why you asked me where her house is. Yeah, that's right. I must have called her for over 10 minutes. She could just be sleeping and not have noticed. Rika-chan's house is really small. She would definitely hear the phone ringing even if she was asleep. Satoko-chan is there too, so there's no way neither of them would notice. What? They're at the same place? That's like nightmare scenario, dude. That's not good. Huh? Satoko, you mean she's living with Rika-chan? Yeah, you didn't know? Well, we can talk about that later. Anyway, if you called that much and no one answered, then something's definitely wrong. Rena understood that the situation wasn't normal far faster than I could have ever imagined her to. It made her seem dependable. However, the fact that Rena had acknowledged this had also meant that the best-case possibility of it all just being the result of my own needless fears went out the window. I'll go to Rika-chan's house right now. Will you come with me? I can show you the way. Sounds good. Let's meet up at the same place as usual. I'll be waiting for you. No, wait. I'll come get you at your house. You just wait there and tell your family you're coming with me to Rika-chan's house, okay? Will that be okay? We might lose time if you come here. Did you call Mi-chan too? She's really dependable at times like these. If you haven't, then I'll give her a call. My thoughts froze for a moment. Shion had just told me to be careful around Mi-chan during our phone conversation a little while ago. If the Sonozaki main house was somehow lurking beneath the surface of the annual freak deaths, then the current heir to the family, Mi-chan, wouldn't be uninvolved. So, wouldn't that mean she wasn't uninvolved in what happened this year to Takano-san and Tomitake-san, and also the mayor's disappearance? Okay, bye. I'll be right over. Wait for me. That's all Rena said before hurriedly hanging up. Now wasn't the time to be doubting Mi-chan. I needed to make sure Rika-chan was safe. I got changed and grabbed the key to my bike. I figured things would go more smoothly if we met up in the place we usually do before school. I know, right? Like, the two of them are gone? Rena wouldn't need to come all the way to my house. My parents would probably have objected if I told them I was leaving, so I creeped out without a word. The night was unusually warm and disagreeably humid. She said that Rika-chan and Satoko lived together, right? Then it wasn't only Rika-chan. Satoko wasn't there either? Realizing what them living together really meant caused my thoughts to immediately take a turn for the worse. That can't be. She's got nothing to do with any of this. Even if there were a reason for Rika-chan to disappear, there shouldn't be one for Satoko. Keiichi-kun! Rena was really fast. She approached me on her bike at an amazing speed. Her breath was ragged, painting a clear picture of just how hurriedly she'd been going. I'm not clicking that. I'm not clicking on scary images sent by Ariel anymore. No, I'm not clicking on that. I'm not clicking on that. You have lost my trust. I'm not clicking that. Someone else can tell me what it is. Her breath was ragged, painting a clear picture of just how hurriedly she'd been going. Hey, Rena, let's get going. It's not something creepy? Is it gonna freak me out like last time? Oh, I already posted that before. It was posted on r/Fruitiger Arrow. I tried making it myself. How the fuck do they do it? I sent that to my good mate Lime Tuna. Hey, Rena, let's get going. Keiichi-kun, I thought I told you to wait at your house. Rena's expression was all business. Was she mad? It came out of the blue, and I faltered for a moment. Well, I just figured it would be faster to meet up here. Oh, she mad. Keiichi-kun, don't you get it? Rena shouted, clearly angry. I'd never seen Rena like this before. Do I get it? What's the problem? Rena seemed to notice she was scaring me, took a couple of deep breaths, then continued as if admonishing me, but her expression didn't soften at all. Keiichi-kun, the whole village is in an uproar right now that the elder disappeared, right? Yeah. Now you're telling me that Rika-chan and Satoko aren't where they're supposed to be, right? Yeah, that about sums it up. Then you need to be more careful. Do you have any idea how dangerous it is to be standing out here alone in the middle of the night? I began to understand where Rena's anger was coming from. You told your family you'd be going to Rika-chan's house with me, didn't you? So that in the worst case scenario, if you and I were to disappear, people would know when and where we did. Rena was perfectly level-headed in this emergency situation. Ever since the night of Watanagashi, every night someone had died or disappeared. On the night itself, Takano-san and Tomitake-san met strange ends. On the next night, the elder vanished. Now, on the next night after that, Rika-chan and Satoko were nowhere to be found. I hadn't been thinking of anyone but myself, but it wasn't enough to say that Hinamizawa was a little weird at the moment. It was, in fact, extremely strange. Okay. Rena had even anticipated our own disappearances, and had told me to tell my family where I was going. I was embarrassed at my own carelessness, and the need to be embarrassed made me afraid of the night. Sorry, I didn't tell them yet. Okay, then let's go tell them together. With Rena beside me, I wheeled back towards my house. Her face turned into the moon. The moon seemed strangely high in the sky, a sky that was uselessly vast and cold, so that no matter what, it would never seem to me like a dream. This cruel fact had already confronted me. On such a crazy night, Rena had been unimaginably dependable. Hinamizawa's metamorphosis, enough to make Rena caution me against carelessness, was, to me, the most fearsome thing of all. The moon seemed strangely high in the sky. We met up with Mion on the way, and she, of course, was unsure whether to believe me about Rika-chan and Satoko's disappearance. Kei-chan, are you serious? I'm going to get really mad if this is a joke. Mion was clearly displeased. If this were a joke, it wasn't very funny. I understood how indiscreet my words were. Ever since the day before yesterday, someone had either died or vanished every night. Rika-chan and Satoko disappearing after all that was something you just couldn't say, even in jest. Michan, if it really is a joke, don't get mad, smile. It would be a joke, after all. We need to go make sure whether it's a joke or not. You're right. Sorry for getting upset. However indiscreet a joke it may have been, if we learned that our friends were safe, it would end up as nothing more than a funny story. Having been warned about that by Rina, Mion gave a dry smile, the tension she felt loosening a bit. She mounted her bicycle as well. Our 3 bicycles' lights flashed down the pitch-black roads. They were some of the only illumination outside. What? You're, like, joking about that, right? Like, that's not serious, right? You wish? What? Your dad thinks that the moon is fake? It's like an old Jax Films meme. He's a moon truther. He thinks the moon is not real? I know, right? It's from America, so that means they're right. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard. Okay, let's maybe not go that far, but doesn't believe the moon is real. Oh man. It's not the first time you've heard this. I've never heard of this. I've never heard of anybody genuinely believing that the moon is not real. It's like undeniable though. Like you can't argue that it didn't happen. Like people go there. You can look at it. You can take out a telescope and you can look at it. And you can see it every night. And there are people who have gone there and walked there. And you think it's fake. Oh man, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Well, yeah, but like, more than just NASA's gone there. Like, Russia's gone there. Like, lots of countries have independently, like, verified that it's real. Yeah, I mean, the moon landing being fake is one thing, but, like... Oh, man, some people are just brain dead. That's so funny, man. I've never heard of that before. She mounted her bicycle as well. Our 3 bicycles' lights flashed down the pitch-black roads. They were some of the only illumination outside. Kei-chan, why did you suddenly decide to call and ask about Rika-chan's house at a time like this? Mion asked me the same thing that I had trouble explaining to Rena. Would it be weird to call it a premonition? No, you're fine. I couldn't quite tell because it was dark, but I thought I could see Mion smiling very ambiguously. I definitely understood that she wasn't convinced, though, despite the darkness. Well, I had this bad dream while I was snoozing, and I couldn't get it out of my head. So, did Rika-chan get kidnapped in the dream? Well, it was more of a vague feeling sort of thing. If Rika-chan had answered the phone, I would have called you and Rena after that. If Rika-chan had answered the phone... Who is saying this? It was more of a vague feeling, sort of thing. If Rika-chan had answered the phone, I would have called you and Rena after that. I guess that's Mion and Rena after that? Lies smoothly babbled out of my mouth, makeshift though they were. I was lying because I thought telling them I was connected to Shion would be like silently admitting we'd stolen into the ritual house, storehouse together that night. We'd stolen into it? That doesn't make any sense. Mion didn't press me any further. I don't know whether that convinced her, or maybe she figured that making sure Rika-chan and Satoko were safe would be faster than making an issue out of it. I felt relieved and immediately a little guilty. Mion hadn't really been acting any differently these last few days, but I'm still trying to distance myself from her for some reason. It was only because of what I heard from Shion and Oishi-san that she was the successor to some kind of super extravagant gang family. No. Was I just trying to force myself to forget? Don't do that, Keiichi Maibara. Wasn't it Mion who was the first to ask about the night of Watanagashi? In such a harsh tone at that. Have I already forgotten the terror I felt? At the time, Mion looked like someone different from the Mion I knew. When I think about that Mion, then Shion and Oishi-san's descriptions of Mion made a tiny bit more sense. I love that joke. That's like, yeah, the moon landing was fake, but NASA was insistent that they filmed it on location, so they actually went to the moon to film the fake moon landing. That's it, isn't it? If it wasn't for how she acted that day, then I wouldn't be feeling this way towards her now. What on earth was going on with her back then? I was conveniently thinking only of everything she had done after that, while disregarding the very first thing, the thing I should have been looking at most, wasn't I? Mion was pedaling her bicycle in front of me, her long hair fluttering in the wind. No matter how long I looked at her back, it never gave me answers to any of my questions. We went all the way to the stone steps leading up to the shrine grounds. Of course, we weren't going to want to haul our bikes up there, so we parked them beside the staircase instead. So, this is the Furude Shrine. Everybody comes and goes as they please, as if it were a park, but this place is actually a grand estate owned by the Furude family. So the entire shrine is private property. It really makes you feel the passage of time. 10 or 20 years ago, it would have looked the exact same. Then wouldn't that mean that the Furude family is really old? With the history going back for generations. Yeah, they're gone. That's odd. Rena said something quick. Holy. Thank you so much for the Prime. I think I need to fix my alert. I think it was getting cut off there. Thank you very much, though. I really appreciate that. Yippee! You got the founder badge now. You're one of the first. Thank you very much. Rena said something queerly, so true, clearly disquieting, so I ran over to her. What's wrong, Rena? Rika-chan and Satoko always leave their bicycles here. She didn't say my name? Yes, Ninja Sock 7, Carter, thank you very much for the Prime. I appreciate that very much. Rika-chan and Satoko, yeah, blah blah. They're gone. I took a look around. Indeed, there were no other bicycles aside from the ones we'd taken to get here. Couldn't they have parked them somewhere else? Could they have brought them up the stairs? Those girls couldn't do that, Keiichi-kun. Just as she said, I couldn't imagine Rika-chan and Satoko lugging their bikes all the way up there. Also, no, I'm not. You're not what? Oh, watching. That's a manual thing that you put on, by the way. You must have done that by accident. We hadn't yet knocked on Rika-chan's door, but reality was already sparking some ideas that weren't what you'd call good. How dare you click the button that says you're watching without audio? Maybe they were just parked under some trees and we hadn't noticed them. I refused to believe that not being able to find their bikes here was proof that they'd disappeared. Let's go. The only way to be sure is to check their house. We all nodded and dashed up the stone steps. We passed through the red arch and... I'm getting brain rotted over literally nothing. I had an instinct to... to go crazy over something, but there's... We passed through the red arch. Nothing happened. There's nothing to reference here. And came out onto the shrine grounds, which were covered in neat gravel. It was so quiet here, as though the Watanagashi festival had never happened. So, where's the house they live in? Over here. Come with me. Rena took the lead and sprinted off. We went towards the assembly hall behind the shrine, then looped around behind it. In the darkness of the night, we found a small, prefab 2-story shack that looked like a warehouse. Imagine living here, dude. This looks like the creepiest place ever to live. I would, barricade all of my windows permanently. That looks horrible. The lights are off. Are they sleeping? Let's knock. Rena and Mion neared the shack, which didn't really look like a place people would live. They had such a beautiful shrine, so I figured they lived in an equally beautiful house. Sorry. It was far from what I had expected. After getting a job, I would not recommend it. Rika-chan, Satoko-chan, are you there? Rena shouted up towards the second floor. Her voice was restrained at first, but it steadily grew louder. No answer. In fact, there wasn't any sort of activity in the house at all. They might be sleeping. Let's wake them up. Mion banged on the shutter with both hands, and the loud sounds echoed into our surroundings. They would have to notice this much noise. They would turn on the light in their room, fling open the windows, and yell, "What time do you think it is?" That, however, wasn't happening. There was absolutely no response. Mion stopped slamming her fists on the shutter, and a sudden silence fell over us. The silence aroused terrible thoughts in us. I could feel the blood draining from my face. Impulsive brain rot. It's locked. I wonder if we can get in somehow. Rena showed no signs of stopping. It didn't look like she would admit they weren't there until we went inside and saw for ourselves. That refusal to give in gave me strength. The second-story windows wouldn't be locked. I'll give them a try. Kei-chan, a ladder. Mion brought over a ladder that was standing against the house. The footing was a little unstable for me to be climbing it, but Mion held the ladder firmly in place for me. I hadn't climbed too many ladders. My inexperience with them exposed, I climbed up one step at a time and tried to open each window on the second floor. Mi-chan, I'm going to check the main house just to be sure, okay? I'll be right back. Rena darted away. What? A main house? It's the Furude family's actual house. After her parents passed away, I think it's been left like that. Ah, right. Rika-chan's parents. They passed away, huh? At that point, I recalled something else. Wasn't Satoko living here too? Satoko's also an orphan. Her parents fell from a cliff because of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Then her older brother, Satoshi-kun, he disappeared. Satoshi, I've heard that name before. I remembered. He was the one who disappeared last year because of the curse. Ever since then, Satoko and Rika-chan have been living in this shack. Neither of them has any family, but at least they're together. They help each other out. Rena said main house, didn't she? Wouldn't it be easier to live there? The curtains were drawn, so I couldn't get a good look inside to see, but 2 young girls living together seemed like a pretty tough life. I think she tried that at first. She said it was hard, though, because it reminded her of her parents. I had no idea. I feel really bad for them. You shouldn't have told her you just fucked up a family? What is that supposed to mean? They were normally so cheerful at school that I never even realized an atom of this. Rika-chan and Satoko-chan, they have it hard, huh? She's cursed. Huh? Suddenly, Mion said something in such a low voice that it sounded like she was really cursing someone, and I didn't let it slide. Oh, broke a brand, yeah. I turned around on the ladder to face her and asked again. Mion, what did you just say? I said, she's cursed. Mion, still holding on to the ladder, brought her head up to look me in the eyes. Oh, Lord. As soon as our eyes met, an absolute zero jolt of electricity surged through my body. Mion's eyes clouded over, and within them boiled and bubbled a stew of chaos. They whirled around and around like a raging sea, and bubbles floated to the surface. I had at some point been trapped on this ladder, like being cornered on a dead-end street. Mion, why are you making that face? I intended to follow that up with, "You're going too far with this joke," and give her a forced smile. However, on such uneven footing as I was, the only thing that came out of my mouth was a hoarse groan as I desperately struggled to not let nausea overwhelm me. "Satoko Hojo. She's been cursed by Oyashiro-sama." Mion answers with a response to something I never asked, as if replying to somebody else's question. The only people who fell from the park observation platform were her parents. Only her parents, who treated her like dirt, died that day. She was the only one to survive. Then she was sent to live with her aunt, who treated her cruelly, and the aunt was killed on the night of Otanagashi by some deviant, who beat her to death so violently her brains were everywhere and her head an entirely different shape by the end of it. Then Satoshi-kun, who always protected her, he suddenly disappeared on her birthday. Someone made him disappear even though he wasn't abusing her. Oh my god, Rika! The police judged him to have run away from home, but Satoshi-kun wasn't the kind of person who would do that. He was always earnest. He would never ask for anyone else's help. He would always drag himself through everything with hard work alone. He worked so hard he nearly ground his bones into dust, all for his one and only little sister, and yet someone made him disappear. She was the only thing he lived for, and yet someone made him disappear. Poor, poor Satoshi-kun. He was never awarded that Satoshi-kun. How ungrateful that child is. She is cursed. All who get near her suffer the same fate. The curse kills them, or the curse makes them disappear. She cannot have any relief. She cannot have any relief. It's probably Satoko's fault that Rika-chan disappeared too. It has to be, 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 it has to be. Mion was mumbling words over and over that were no longer coherent. Her shoulders were trembling so hard that I could feel it through the ladder. I almost lost my footing, which made me realize just how far away the ground really was. "Calm down, Mion. I don't know what you're talking about." I wasn't sure if she even heard me. Mion rocked back and forth, and that rocking and trembling was becoming even more violent. "Help me. The ladder, it's falling. Help me. Help!" Just then, I heard the sound of many people running towards us. Oh, hey, over here!" I very nearly said "help me" outright. 4 or 5 adults, led by Rena, ran over here with flashlights. "Keiichi-kun, Michan, sorry I took so long. I borrowed the key." "Oh, nice one. Seems all the windows and doors are perfectly sealed." "What is going on? Hello, Monsul. Thank you for being the first-time chatter." Why is she just back to normal? Like nothing happened. Yeah, like what? I was getting worried. When I heard Mion talking like nothing had just happened, I again felt a chill run through me. The person currently holding the ladder in place, it was definitely Mion. It was the real Mion Sonozaki. Then, the person muttering to themselves. Just a few seconds ago, who was that? That person who was mumbling about terrible things, like curses, who was that? I jumped down from the ladder as if running away, before Mion turned into that person who wasn't Mion a second time. The adults tried to... The adults tried a few different keys on a keyring as they tried to open the big shutter on the first door, or the first floor. Rika-chan's house used to be a disaster shelter for the town council. So the key to the shutter is still kept in the mayor's house. It's Rika-chan and Satoko's private residence now, though. Well, this is on Rika-chan's property anyway. Nobody complains about it. Mion gave me a smile as she said that. I, however, could only return her gaze with an aghast expression. Mion was acting all too normal now, but that only contrasted all the more sharply with her earlier un-Mion-like creepiness. Bang! Bam! Clatter, 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 bang! The shutter opened up for the first time in a very long while. Renault located the light switch and wasted no time going inside. I followed her in. Rika-chan! Satoko-chan! If you're in here, say something! We climbed a narrow staircase. It had looked like nothing more than a warehouse, but now that I was inside, I could feel how lived in it was. It was a person's home. 3rd place in the top monthly clip? Yeah, you're also 1st place. Somehow, the scent of the two of them filled the place. This was definitely where Rika-chan and Satoko lived. The 1st floor doubled as a town assembly warehouse. That's a new song. But the 2nd floor was a space entirely for living. Just like a one-room apartment, past the kitchen was a living room taking up about 150 square feet. Dressers, cupboards, and the like were packed into the space, and in the corner there was a huge pile of clothes that appeared to have just been taken in from drying outside. In the center of the living room was a fold-up table, and on it were small containers for things like soy sauce and salad dressing. The sense of a frugal lifestyle drifted from all of it. Eve music? Yeah, that's fair. I haven't played that, but this is how I imagine it would be. Maybe I'll play that on stream next, because I do own that. Or at least I own the remake for it. I think that's what this one is. Yeah. Anybody know if the remake is good? It says overwhelmingly positive. I'm not sure whether to play the remake or the original. It was strange that they weren't here in the middle of the night like this. The adults, climbing the stairs one at a time, began to make a fuss and talk amongst themselves. So? Not here? Yeah, they're not in here. This is definitely weird. The village had just been thrown into chaos yesterday because of the mayor's disappearance. Then today, even Rika-chan and Satoko had... Were they out playing somewhere together? That can't be. Their bicycles aren't here, though. Where would they have gone so late at night? Have they just not come back yet? Where did they go? The adults put forth various possibilities, and the house immediately devolved into a state of confusion. Eventually, Mion settled them down. I don't want to believe it, but the mayor, Kimiyoshi, disappeared yesterday. We can't say that this is unrelated. The adults' faces paled at Mion's declaration. Mine and Rena's did as well. Let's see, they could have gone nearby for some tea or something, then accidentally fallen asleep. Whoever invited them might just not be able to wake them up at all, too. Let's eliminate that possibility first. Makino-san, please go around to the houses near the stream. Mion's gonna send everybody away and then get all creepy again. Keitaro-san, go look near Ojaga Lake. Okamura-san, you... Mion promptly gave directions to the villagers. The adults followed them without hesitation, despite her age. We'll remain here and call up anyone we can think of on the phone. Okay, everyone, you have your orders. Got it. The adults all roared in reply and pounded back down the stairs below. Wow, Mi-chan. You're not only chairperson of the school, but Hinamizawa, too. No time for jokes. Hey, step aside. This old man is using the phone. Mion grinned proudly, took the receiver, and got started. Mion gave Rena... Why did I say that backwards? Rena gave Mion a trusting look, considering her dependable for doing all this. My feelings, though, were a little more complicated, since her leadership seemed to be affirming the Sonozaki family successor impression that Shion and Oishi-san had given me. Stop right there, Keiichi Maibara. None of that matters right now. The most important thing is trying to make sure Rika-chan and Satoko are safe. Let's see. Couldn't there be a clue hinting at where they might have gone somewhere in this room? Still, though, I wouldn't know what to look for anyway. If we tore the whole place apart and figured out what was different from before, we might be able to speculate, but there was nothing strange about this room, and there were no clues in sight. In the first place, I had never been here before. There was no way for me to know what was different if I didn't know how the room usually looked. Hey, don't give up, Keiichi Maibara. Stop thinking and start looking. For something. In search of something, I tried pulling open the dresser drawers and open the windows. I didn't uncover anything meaningful, though. Rena, also unable to stand around doing nothing, was looking around the room like I was. Rena, I don't think you'll find Rika-chan by opening the refrigerator or the cabinet underneath the sink. I just thought they might be hiding. As we were searching, it got noisy outside. Villagers were quickly assembling here, having heard the commotion. Of course, a lot of them were probably people Mion had called. I'll go tell everyone what's going on. The police will be here sooner or later, too. We'll need to explain the situation to Oishi. Mion began descending the stairs, and we followed her out to the front of the house. There were already around 10 adults there, and all of them looked uneasy. I suddenly noticed that the old people from the shrine were here as well, and they were praying for Rika-chan's safety, rubbing their prayer beads. This had gotten bad. This wasn't just a problem between friends anymore. Mion-chan, is it true that Rika-chan and Satoko-chan aren't anywhere to be found? The villagers all formed a ring around Mion, swarming her. Mion raised her right hand, as if silently telling them to calm down. First, let's check every house according to the town council's notification division and see if they're visiting anyone. After all, they could be fast asleep at someone's house and totally unaware that we're looking for them. It would definitely be hard for someone to wake up Rika-chan if she had eaten a good full meal and fallen asleep like a kitten afterwards. Oh, how nice it would be if that were the case. I don't want to think about this, but it's also possible something bad has happened. Mion's face grew remarkably more grim, and a wave of silence washed over the adults. We should divide up the work, too. We'll go around to all the places we went last night while looking for the mayor. We'll go look around the damn construction site as best as we can. You guys go search around the school. Right. Let's get a move on. Come on, let's go. All of you were up at night looking for the mayor. I know you're all low on sleep, but please, do your best. Got it. With that as their signal, the adults scattered in every direction. I figured I should scatter somewhere as well, so I started walking unsteadily in a direction no one had gone in. I was getting farther and farther from people. I didn't feel scared or anything, though. If someone were made to disappear, Shion and I should be first. It would have been perfectly normal for me to be scared of the dark. However, I didn't feel that way. Why was that? It was because tonight, someone had already disappeared. So nobody else would disappear tonight. It would take some time before I, exhausted as I was, would feel guilt at the cause of my own selfish sense of relief. Wow. Perfectly on time for an ad to start in 59 seconds. This is getting to be a lot. Okay. I'm going to take another break. I will be back in a few minutes now. I will let these ads play, get us another hour of no pre-rolls, and be right back. They still make Fruity Pebbles? I thought it was like an old or like a limited time cereal or something. You're telling me they made Granddad cereal? That's just crazy. That's crazy talk. What do you mean -2? What are you -2ing me for? I didn't do anything wrong. My audio is peaking. I think I may need to take off that gain that I put on. Or at least put it back down to my 8 decibels. Let's, the ads looped? I don't know. I did click the 3-minute button and then it only played an hour and a half or a minute and a half of them for some reason, so could have been an issue there. Oh. Okay, let's fix my alert box here. Okay, can I do like \n? Does that work? Okay, that works. Hello? What is wrong with everything? Oh, jump scare? Okay, that should be better. Perfect. Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Alright. We shall continue. Suddenly, my vision cleared and a cold wind caressed my body. This was the hill from which you could see the whole village. Looking down from this hill, I could see lights on here and there, and I knew that the entire village had awoken from its slumber. First Takano-san and Tomitake-san, then the mayor, and now even Rika-chan and Satoko had been sacrificed, and word of it was spreading everywhere. The strength in my knees left me. This could no longer be a joke. We could have found them. Mion would have told me I was a worrywart, Rena would just be glad we did, and they would have smiled at me. My hopes disappeared as if I were awakening from a dream. That was what the view I could see was telling me. Following my knees, my arms both bent forward onto the ground, and I clawed at it with my nails. I couldn't figure out if I was feeling sorrow or frustration. Ugh. Is this my fault? I couldn't endure the burden of my own sin, and I had just told Rika-chan about it. They had nothing to do with it, but Rika-chan and even Satoko had been sacrificed. It was like a cross that Shion and I would each have to bear the weight of until we ourselves were erased. Well, if I'm going that far, then the problem started long before that. My original sin of breaking taboo and entering the ritual storehouse without asking. I knew I shouldn't have gone in there from the start, yet I lost out to cheap curiosity. I hadn't felt so angry at myself until this very moment. There was a crunching sound. I wasn't even interested in who made the noise, despondent as I was. It's creepy me on again. Nope, never mind. Keiichi-kun? Keiichi-kun, are you okay? It was Rena. Perhaps my clawing at the ground made it look as though I was having stomach pains. She ran over and rubbed my back like she was trying to make me feel better. This is all my fault. It's because of me. It's my fault. Keiichi-kun's fault? You didn't do anything wrong. Please don't blame yourself for this. I could tell Rena was doing her best to choose the right words out of consideration for me. That's why I could sense her intent behind those words. Keiichi-kun, you know why Rika-chan and Satoko-chan disappeared, don't you? Is what she really meant to say. Because it was an emergency, Rena had ignored the reason why I wanted to make sure Rika-chan was safe, but now that we'd actually confirmed her disappearance, it was only natural Rena would start to wonder about why. However, with the situation having gone this far, I couldn't possibly tell her now. I didn't want to admit that Rika-chan and Satoko had disappeared, but I couldn't let Rena disappear either. Keiichi-kun, if you stay here out in the wind, you'll catch a cold. Rena sat down, bringing her eyes level with mine. Excuse me. They told us that children should go back home to sleep. Rena showed me her watch as she said that. It was long past 1 in the morning. Time was passing too quickly. Had I been crawling around here for that long? If we don't sleep soon, we'll have trouble getting up for school tomorrow. Even the adults are really worn out since they were up searching for the mayor last night, too. They were saying they'd break up a little earlier tonight. I was a little upset that they weren't allotting as much time to this as they had to search for the mayor last night, but that was something I, the cause of everything, had no right to criticize them for. It's alright. The police arrived a little while ago. Look, there's police cars coming into the village right now. Hearing that remark, I looked down at the village to see that there were indeed more cars than one would normally expect at this hour, coming from the darkness on the other side of the mountain. Least deserving mod role of all time. However, none of their emergency lights were on. Of course, their sirens weren't wailing either. That's right. All of the incidents that occurred right after Watanagashi were seen as the product of Oyashiro-sama's curse, and would be handled in secrecy. Rika-chan and Satoko, too. Their disappearance would end up exactly like the other serial incidents in the past. Surreptitious, unresolved, declared a mystery, and disappear from memory. Yes, this is your last day. There's no more. You're done for. Excuse me. Sorry. Rika-chan's face, her sweet face, like a Western doll's, would fade away. Satoko's smile, her energetic, fanged smile, would fade away. The more I tried to remember them, the less I would be able to. I deserved to be called an idiot dozens of times over, and it wouldn't be enough. I couldn't hold back the tears at my own sheer stupidity. I don't know what you're blaming yourself for, Keiichi-kun, but you should stop. I wasn't about to deny it. I couldn't. Even so, I couldn't affirm it either. I wanted to at least keep Rena out of this. If she found out, she would become involved. Please, Rena, could you just leave me alone? Even if I went home, I wouldn't be able to sleep. If I couldn't get to sleep, then I at least wanted to search for Rika-chan and Satoko until I collapsed. The entire village was looking, and yet they still hadn't been found. I don't think I'd be able to find them if I went looking alone at this point. Still, I had to do it. They disappeared because of me. I couldn't possibly go to sleep while other people are out there searching. I had said that to myself in self-deprecation, but I soon realized that Rena was silently trying to find the meaning in my mumblings. I realized I had misspoke. It's Keiichi-kun's fault? Why do you think that? Why? That can't be. Keiichi-kun, you're not at fault. I was happy that Rena said these things to me, but she only did so because she didn't know the truth. If she knew that everything had been caused by my breaking taboo on the night of Watanagashi, then even Rena would curse my existence. However, I can't even allow for those curses. That would mean confessing my own crimes to Rena. If I spilled even one word of having snuck into the ritual storehouse on the night of Watanagashi, then even Rena could disappear tomorrow night. The gentle, spirited, always joking, always hawing, but at a time like this, the most dependable person in the world, Rena, might disappear. I don't want that. Anything but that. This time, I need to bear my own cross. Alone. Keiichi-kun, I know that you always have your friends in your heart. I can really understand feeling like you want to kick yourself. Rena knows, though, that it's not Keiichi-kun's fault. You didn't do anything wrong, Keiichi-kun, and I know that. You know that? The shivering in my veins rushed up my back and replaced the sorrow in my heart with fear. I didn't tell her anything, did I? Maybe I accidentally said something that caused Rena to figure it out? This is bad. Now Rena will disappear, Rena will disappear, Rena will disappear. Then Rena, the same way I always did, grabbed my head and began to pat it roughly. Keiichi-kun, are you thinking that Rena might disappear now too? Because of Yoshio-sama's curse? She puts more force into the hand rubbing my head. You don't need to worry about that. Rena isn't going anywhere. I promise. Why? How can you say that with such confidence? I mean, someone's been sacrificed every night so far. There was no proof that it wouldn't happen again tomorrow night. There was even less proof, after all, that the sacrifice wouldn't be Rena. I don't care who you are. Just, please, if you're going to erase someone, erase me first. Please, stop cruelly getting rid of people we're close to, like the mayor for Shion and Rika-chan and Satoko for me. Shion's hysterical shouting came back to mind. They must be planning to kill us last of all. They're not killing the first people who come to mind. They start by killing those we're close to, and then after they've caused us so much pain, they'll kill us. That must be what they're doing. Rena, please, don't disappear. Please, don't. As long as I'm still here, I can no longer conceal the sobs welling up within me. Come on, Keiichi-kun, crying doesn't suit you. Let's go back to the others. The housewives are cooking some miso soup for us. It'll warm you up and calm you down. Rena prompted me to stand. I didn't have the energy to oppose her, so I stood as she urged me to. We returned to the shrine grounds to find several gas stoves there with miso soup in big pots. The many villagers there sipped at the soup they were given in dead, stony silence. Their expressions were absolutely exhausted. Everyone had just been running around the village until a little while ago. From the dreary looks on their faces, though, I assumed they hadn't come up with anything yet. Kei-chan, where did you go? I was worried you'd disappeared too. Sorry. Mion held out some miso soup for me, but I refused the offer. I didn't have much of an appetite. Mi-chan, how is it? Did you find any clues? Mion took a sip of her soup, her expression frank. None at all. School ended and they went home. Then the two of them went somewhere on their bicycles. Moreover, nobody ever saw them riding their bikes, so... When it gets dark out in Hinamizawa, people quickly vanish from the streets. Aside from adults hurrying back home from town in cars or on bicycles, it was normal to see absolutely nobody walking around outside. It wasn't at all strange that nobody had seen Rika-chan and Satoko riding their bikes. Excuse me. It was the same last night with the mayor. There's no hope. Mion's apathetic tone pricked my nerves, but that anger quickly subsided. She had been doing all sorts of things to try and find Rika-chan until just a second ago. If I asked her, she'd probably say she was up all night last night, too, looking for the mayor, wouldn't she? She must have been far more fatigued than I was. Besides, what about me? I had spent the time hunched over in indecision, all alone. I had no right to say anything about Mion. Kei-chan, I know it's hard, but let's turn in for the night. We just decided we should break up the search for now. Drink this and let's call it quits. Is this the end? Oh, no, of course not. Once it's bright out again, we'll do a thorough search with the police's help. They could have gone to Okinomiya, too. People are even saying we should go through all of Shishibone City investigating whether there are any witnesses, for both the girls and the mayor. Anyway, what happened, Kei-chan? Where did you go off to? You vanished all of a sudden. I was really worried. Suddenly, I was on the receiving end, but I didn't have the willpower to respond. Sorry, I'll be more careful. Nothing happened? There wasn't anyone suspicious spying on or stalking you? Nothing like that? Mion demanded with a serious expression. I was being criticized for how inconsiderate I had been, despite being in so much pain. I was frustrated that I was being criticized, but it was my sin. My sin, and I must bear it alone. Nothing. I'll be careful either way. Sorry. Mion, now aware that nothing had happened, heaved a big sigh with her shoulders, looking relieved. Oh, Lord. You do not need to be here. Oh, my. I knew I smelled something good coming from over here. I'd be much obliged if you would allow me to have some. We heard the repulsive voice of a fat man. It was Oishi-san, trailed by a handful of police officers. He was acting energetically in a way unfitting given the situation. There's not much left, but you can have some if you want. Mion didn't like Oishi-san very much. Her cold attitude, though, didn't seem to bother Oishi-san in the slightest. It was like splashing water in a frog's face. Well now, miso soup leftovers have a bit too much salt for my taste. Confound it. Would you all like any? He recommended it to his subordinates, but everyone gave dry smiles and refused. So have the police gotten a hold of any clues? Rena's smile was warm enough to replace the miso soup. Don't you worry, little missy. Everything's fine. We're searching for them real good. He didn't say a word about having found any new clues. In other words, there had been no progress. That sure was an annoying way of beating around the bush. In any case, it really has gotten late. All you youngsters should get on home and get some sleep. It'll be bad for your health otherwise. Yeah, Kei-chan, Rena, get some rest. These guys get our tax money. They'll handle it from here for us. We're taxpayers too, you know. It's like we're drinking our own piss. Nah. That's weird. Don't say that. I really wasn't in the mood for laughter. In fact, Oishi-san was the only one laughing like an idiot. Okay, seriously, please do your best. Let's go home, Keiichi-kun. It'll be harder to wake up tomorrow if we don't. It's a horrible idea for them to go home. Why do they not just all sleep together in this whatever area that they're drinking the soup in? Like, they need people to stick together. We cannot have anybody be left alone. Yes, that's right. I can always bring you home if you need. Kuma-chan, why don't you bring the car around? No thanks. We came on our bicycles, so... No need to worry. We came in a truck. We'll just throw the bikes in the back. We may have gotten pretty sleepy, but we just needed to ride home at this point. I didn't want to bother the police like that. Rena, however, nodded. Okay, if you insist, we'd appreciate it. It's probably safer than if we went back alone. When I thought about it carefully, I realized that Rena's idea was extremely rational. Well, duh. Now that it's decided, let's get a move on, shall we? Okay, bye. Good night. Rena, Kei-chan. Yeah. Mi-chan, you go to bed soon too, okay? Good night. I waved my hand as well, saying goodbye. Rika-chan and Satoko still hadn't been found. My unease, however, was steadily being pushed away by sleepiness. Rena showed the police where our bicycles were so that Oishi-san could haul them up into their truck. He prompted us to get into the back seat. I could hear the springs squeaking as I sat down onto a seat that would normally hurt my rear end, but at this point it was very soft and was more than comfortable enough for me to fall asleep on. Ladies first, we'll start with the little Mrs. house. Where do you live? Thank you. My house is, well... Oh, dude. He's gonna coerce Keiichi into talking again. Rena's voice slowly grew distant. I felt myself being sucked into the void of sleep. Hello? Maibara-san, are you asleep back there? When I came to, it was quiet. The car was parked. Oishi-san was giving me light slaps to the cheek. It didn't feel good at all, so I woke up immediately. Ah, I'm sorry, I just fell asleep. Something was being held right under my nose. A clump of metal? It was a can of coffee. It's lukewarm by now, but café au lait is good even at room temperature. Oh, thanks. I mechanically took the can and opened the pull top. The feeling of the warm, sweet liquid going down my throat awakened my sleepy mind. When my drowsiness receded, I stopped wanting to know why the car was stopped and why I was up. I started wanting to know why the car was stopped and why I was ordered coffee. Oishi-san, who had been in the driver's seat, had at some point moved to the back. Suddenly, I had a very bad feeling about this. Yeah, it's almost like I said. Why doesn't this guy listen to me? Is he stupid? It reminded me of the questioning yesterday at the library. I can't believe that was only yesterday here. Like, it was already too late by the time I'd realized I'd made a mistake. Today, of all days, it didn't look like I would be getting away. I had a feeling that Oishi-san heard what he wanted to. That until Oishi-san heard what he wanted to, he wouldn't be letting me go. Please, don't get all formal on me. I'm not going to eat you or anything. Maibara-san. Oishi-san gulped down the last of his coffee, then stretched wide, showing me how relaxed he was. That, however, only served to heighten my nervousness. What do you need from me? Need? Oh, no, nothing really. You're going to evade the question at this point? What a deeply unreadable man. Well, I don't need you for anything. I just thought that you might need something from me, Maibara-san. I don't need anything. Oh, I see. Really? Are you sure there's nothing? There was only one side door in the back seat of this truck. In other words, my only exit was blocked off by Oishi-san. I couldn't get away. I could only limply hang my head and maintain my silence. Oishi-san, despite my reticence, relaxed and began smoking a cigarette. The cries of the insects outside seemed to be growing longer and longer to an infinite amount of time. What? To an amount of time that almost seemed infinite. I was like, where did I read infinite? But it's on the next line. Here I was sure that you had something you wanted to talk to me about. Oishi-san exhaled a puff of smoke. The windows were open, but the tobacco smoke still accumulated inside the vehicle. How much did Oishi-san know? What did he know, and what did he want to hear from me? If finding out the truth made you disappear, then if I told him, would Oishi-san disappear too? I had a feeling that I didn't need to worry about that in this case. I wonder how all this ended up happening. Oishi-san addressed me in a low tone as if he was talking to himself. How all of this ended up happening? How the hell should I know? That was what I wanted to know. You know Jiro Tomitake-san and Mio Takano-san, right? I know you do, because I personally witnessed you with them during the festival, along with Shion Sonozaki-san. Do you know how Tomitake-san and Takano-san are doing now? They've actually, well, passed away. I thought it was this guy that he heard that from. Was it from Shion? They met very untimely deaths. Oishi-san probably played that card in order to surprise me. However, I already knew and didn't display the extreme reaction he expected. What's this? Did you already know? Unfortunately, for this question in particular, remaining silent was equivalent to saying yes. Oh, so then did you also know? The reason Tomitake-san and Takano-san were cursed like that? People are saying that apparently they went into some forbidden building. The storehouse for ritual implements. That forbidden shed, sealing away Hinamizawa's blood-stained past. Where the mistake that started it all happened. Do you know about the rumors that say the mayor and Rika Furude-san were cursed because of that too? That would mean it was mine and Shion's fault. Did I read this line or did I just do it in my head? He was right. As soon as we revealed what we did, what did they call it? A ritual storehouse? They're saying it was bad luck. The lock to it had... The lock to it had been replaced by a simpler one, which made it easier for thieves to get inside. What? This was news to me. What? Again, wasn't this another thing that they were literally talking about not too long ago? Until last year, it apparently had these big bars and a huge padlock on it. I mean, you know, ever since the priest and his wife passed away, Rika Furude-san has been managing the place, right? Like, didn't Rika talk about that? Or something like that? Somebody mentioned that for sure. Until last year, it apparently had these big bars and a huge padlock on it. I mean, you know, ever since the priest and his wife passed away, Rika Furude-san has been managing the place, right? Apparently she talked to the mayor saying she wanted them replaced with a lighter, more simpler padlock because the bars were too heavy for her. I didn't know anything about those big bars he was talking about, but the lock had certainly been a simple one. It was a pretty cheap one too, and it didn't really fit my impression of what a lock for a place you'd store something as important as ritual implements would look like. Rika-san is a small girl, after all. The bars were heavy with rust, and they must have caused her a lot of trouble. So the mayor hired a craftsman and replaced the lock with a simple padlock so she could open it with a key. So how does that mean it was bad luck? Here's what I'm saying. Thieves couldn't get in with the old tight lock. The mayor and Rika-san replaced it with a cheap lock and key on their own, and so thieves broke into it. Apparently that's how it's going down. That explanation's a bit... Letting that slide, certain members of the village delivered punishment upon the thieves who stole into the ritual storehouse, as well as the mayor and Rika-san, who changed the lock. Interesting. At least, those are the whispers that seem to be going around. Maibara-san, what do you think? What do I think? I don't really know what you mean by certain members of the village. Are you familiar with the three families? Representatives from each of them gave short addresses at the Watanagashi Festival's opening ceremony. Did you see them? I came partway through the festival, so I don't really... The three families are the three oldest families in Hinamizawa. To give actual names, the Kimiyoshi family, the Sonozaki family, and the Furude family. They each have quite the lineage, it seems. Long ago, it said that everything in the village was decided by a council of the three families. The Kimiyoshi family, Old Man Kimiyoshi, meaning the mayor's family. The Sonozaki family was Mion's. So the Furude family was Rika-chan's family, then? After the war, the Sonozaki family quickly expanded their influence. Practically speaking, after leading the fight against the construction during the dam conflict, they jumped to the top of the hierarchy in Hinamizawa. It's gotta be with whatever creepy, weird Mion was yapping about earlier. Everybody close to Satoko gets killed. You see, though, in accordance with the old ways, they still decide important village matters only after consulting with the three families. That's why the leaders of the three families each have their own address at the start of Watanagashi. In other words, the mayor, the old lady currently in charge of the Sonozaki family, and the last remaining member of the Furude family, Rika-san. I heard that the Sonozaki family was pretty high up there, so Rika-chan's family was just as old? Well, as you're aware, she has no relatives at all. In reality, the Furude family holds pretty much no influence. Well, because there aren't any of them. I didn't realize everyone was dead. However, it seems like people gravitate towards Rika-san on a personal level, and I hear that many of the village's elderly have blind faith in her. It was certainly true that Rika-chan had an odd sort of charisma against the elderly. So, what are you telling me all of this about the three families for? What are you telling me all about this three families stuff for? Oishi-san paused for emphasis, lighting another cigarette. I've explained a lot, but I suppose it's still not enough. I'm asking because I don't understand. Oishi gave me a dry, meaningful grin and blew out another big puff of smoke. Members of the three families are disappearing one after the other. That's what I'm talking about. I've read that it's based on some kind of old traditions inherent in Hinamizawa, but I don't know much beyond that. I don't know anything about it either. That's why I'm asking. The leaders of the Kimiyoshi and Furude families have disappeared, so maybe the leader of the Sonozaki family will disappear next. Well, that's just a random idea bouncing in my head at the moment. Just kidding, really. The leader of the Sonozaki family, who is it? The current leader is the old lady at their main house, but it wouldn't be incorrect to say that practically all the rights of leadership been transferred to her granddaughter, Mion-san. The visage of Mion giving prompt discretions to the adults while searching for Rika-chan sprung back to mind. Mion? She's gonna disappear? I hadn't even thought of that possibility. All my hair stood on end. That's insane. Nobody wants that, right? Of course not. We can't allow that. Clamp. Oishi-san grabbed my shoulders with both hands. Then help us, Maibara-san. If there's anything you've noticed about me on Sonozaki lately, please tell me. I was going along with him? By the time I realized it, it was too late. Oishi-san brought his face in closer, almost close enough to ram into me, waiting for my next words. This pressure, I can't tear my eyes away from his... That moment, I heard a beeping sound. It was from the driver's seat. He ignored it at first, but then it started to bother him, so he finally let go of me and leaned into the driver's seat. Hello? Yep, loud and clear. I was saved. Of course, it's not like I could escape through this opening. I see. Yes, alright. Let's head back then. Yes. Okay. Apparently he was being recalled. Now that I knew I'd be freed, the tension in my body dissipated all at once. It looks like I need to get going. We were just getting to the good part, too. That's too bad. Oishi-san flung open the door, exited, and walked around the front to the driver's seat. He left the door open. Did that mean I could leave? You really care about your friends, Maibara-san. An admirable trait for a kid to have in this day and age. I totally understand that it feels like you'd be betraying them if you told the police anything. Maibara-san, it's the middle of the night, so get a good night's sleep and then think about it. Just a little bit of courage from you might end up being what saves many of your friends in the end. Did he want to say that the sacrifices wouldn't stop with Rika-chan and Satoko? You know this already, but every night since Watanagashi, something has happened. In the past, the curse only occurred once per year, but this time it's been going on for days. What a prosperous year this has been. I don't think you can call that prosperous. The night before last night, and now today. There's no proof that something won't happen tomorrow night as well. It's our job to prevent such things before they happen, but for that, we need your cooperation, Maibara-san. I looked out the open door to see none other than my own house right in front of me. It creeped me out that he knew my name and address, but I was too sleepy right now. I was too sleepy to care. Well, you're probably tired. It's already 3 in the morning. Please, get yourself a good rest. Yes, sir. I'll be going now. When I was about to get out of the truck, as if to deliver a parting blow, Oishi-san said in a raised voice, I'll be coming by every day until you feel like talking, all right? I don't believe forcing you to confess in an interrogation room is really in fashion these days. I couldn't say anything in response, but me slamming the door shut probably served the same purpose. After lightly beeping the horn, Oishi-san's truck drove off. I went to the front door without waving goodbye. The door was locked, but the chain wasn't up. I unlocked the door and entered. I gently opened the door, then walked over to the staircase. That was where I lost consciousness. Somebody had to say it. What is going on? What is going on? Is Mion gone next? Is Mion a bad guy? Is Mion a good guy? What is happening? I don't know what's going on. Yes. Hello, achievement. Okay. Well, I guess I will view these tips. Another scrapbook. The Sonozaki family. The one to drastically expand its influence after the war was the Sonozaki family. The leader at the time was Oryo Sonozaki, who still has that seat today. Oryo Sonozaki has grown old, and today you can only catch a glimpse of who she was at the time. From what I've been told, however, she was a leader extolled as the best in history. Having become so old, aside from going out a few times a week for lessons, she spends her time at home in solitude, and seems to leave most of the ceremonial affairs to her heir, Mion. There are different views on why the successor was not her daughter but her granddaughter Mion, but it's rumored that it has to do with disownment of her daughter and son-in-law. The uninhabited granddaughter, Mion Sonozaki, still shows no signs of the dignity required of the next leader. However, she does have Sonozaki blood in her veins and is permitted the name of Demon. She still doubtlessly requires caution, and is probably hiding her fangs and claws as skillfully as leaders of the past did. Fangs and claws. Yes, the postal worker hasn't seen anything either. The Sonozaki main house has their seal hanging from their mailbox so that anyone can stamp their mail or parcels with it and drop it in. That's rather careless of them. So when was she last seen? She was last seen at the Watanagashi opening ceremony greetings. She apparently returned home right after that. Well, she is pretty old. From what I've heard, she goes out a few times a week to take lessons, right? Have you found anything out about that? Every Monday she goes to the assembly hall to practice the Taishogoto, but she didn't go this week. Oh lord. Yeah, so the leader is also missing now. Any calls to say she wasn't going to be there? Has anyone confirmed it? No, nobody. She apparently takes days off once in a while, though, so no one thought it was strange. Tomorrow, why don't we pretend we're the town hall and call her around 10 o'clock? Please figure out whether she's at home. 10 o'clock? Got it. Ever since it started to seem more and more like ancient Hinamizawa traditions had something to do with all this, he'd been keeping a careful eye on the 3 families. At this point, the leader of the Kimiyoshi family and the leader of the Furude family had disappeared. There was only one leader left, Oryo Sonozaki, the leader of the Sonozaki family. She was apparently a pretty old woman. Her dignity hasn't waned, but she still only appeared before people rarely, so it was difficult to confirm where she was at any given time. She, the last leader, hadn't been seen since the day of Watanagashi. Was she still alive and well within the Sonozaki main house? Or had she... According to Mion Sonozaki, she had fallen ill and was sleeping it off. I wonder if she's really sleeping. I'd like to take a look at her face and her pulse. You can say that again. The two of them breathed out a big puff of cigarette smoke. Oishi-san, about the search warrants for the Sonozaki main house and the Furude shrine. Do you think we'll get them? Oishi didn't respond, exhaled another cloud of tobacco smoke, his surroundings now as foggy as his mind. X. The Everything app. The Hidden Demon. The inhabitants of Hinamizawa believe that the blood of demons flows in their blood. As such, the character for demon is treated as very sacred. For example, usage of the character in names is apparently a right reserved for only the leaders of the Kimiyoshi and Sonozaki families. Case in point, we can see it in the current Sonozaki family leader's name. Oryo is written with the character. This, and only this, is proof that she is a legitimate leader of the Sonozaki family. In the same way, Mion Sonozaki, its successor, contains it in her name, with Mi being written as such. It also goes for Oryo's daughter and Mion's mother, Akane, who did not succeed her. It's known that before the disowning, Akane's name was actually written as such, though it was changed afterwards to such. Still reads as Akane. Incidentally, it's thought that the first character, the Mayor Kichiro's name, originally meant demon, which can also be read as Ki. It should be said that names using the character aren't limited only to successors of the Sonozaki family. You can even find it in the last names of the three families. For example, the characters for Kimiyoshi are likely a split-up version of it. If you write it in reverse and top to bottom, as such, it clearly resembles the character. As for the Furude family, who have been in the Shinto priesthood for generations, the word for fortune teller can be written without interval characters as that. I like to think that with the addition of a demon's horn, the tick on top of the character, the blah became the blah that is used in their name now. I don't know how to read that out loud. In the case of the Sonozaki family, where Sonozaki is written like that, I can't find any reference to the character, perhaps because it's already ingrained into their first names. They were the clan responsible for running the Watanagashi ceremony, so I think that instead they included the contents of that ceremony into their last name. Okay, you read it out if you're so smart then. Kanji's hard. The Zaki in Sonozaki is a conjugation of the word for slice, and the Sono, written as such, probably contains the hidden meaning of human body, as it is a complicated mess, organs enclosed by four sides. That's what I thought. I think, in other words, that Sonozaki comes from those who slice open the gut. Interesting. Request denied. I'm back. How did it go? Did you find any clues? The officers shook their head in disappointment. Exhaustion was plainly showing on everyone's faces. That was only natural. None of them had gotten a wink of sleep since the day of Watanagashi. Chief, let the youngest of us take a nap and then switch them out. We've got a long stretch ahead of us after all. Let's not push ourselves too hard. Rest up so we can take it easy as we go. I've been telling them to sleep in shifts. Nobody actually seems willing to sleep, though. Could you tell them that yourself, Oishi-san? Oh my, you don't need to force yourselves, Komiyama-kun. Please let everyone sleep in shifts, starting with the youngest. Komiyama-san, please do that. After the chief told him as well, Komiyama-san left his seat. So, Chief, still no good on our request? It's just a rumor among the villagers in the first place, you know? It's going to be difficult without more concrete evidence. Even when that evidence might be tucked away in there? We need evidence that evidence is tucked away in there. Chief, don't start speaking in riddles to me now. We have witnesses that say that 4 people, including the 2 who died, went into the forbidden ritual storehouse without permission. This is all reliable information. You might call it information, but they're really only rumors. They're not concrete evidence. Well, it's true that we don't have pictures of the 4 of them sneaking in with cloth tied around their heads. Anyway, those 4 saw something inside the storehouse. Something important enough that they'd be erased. Important enough that they'd be erased? What would that be exactly? That's why I'm asking for a warrant to go looking for it in the first place. Anything pointing at the Sonozaki family's connections to violent organizations would be a major contender, like a pile of Tokarevs, or a secret poppy production facility. The secret Sonozaki family fortune would also be pretty difficult to discard. Look, Oishi-san, I know how you feel. However, that storehouse is a sacred building belonging to the Furude Shrine, and we need to have proper consideration for the locals when dealing with it. I heard that there was an hour-long call made from Congressman Sonozaki to the big man. Chief, could he have nailed you back down? Anyway, as long as we don't have suitable evidence, we won't get a search warrant for the storehouse. That goes for the Sonozaki main house, too, especially considering that that's the jurisdiction of both Section 4 and the Prefectural Police's Crime Prevention Division. We need careful preparations first. If you say you need preparations, then why don't you just let me talk with them directly? Shige-chan is the head of Section 4, right? For crime prevention, it's Yamaumi-san. They seem like they'd be quicker to talk if I sat them down at a mahjong table. Chief, you have a visitor. Yikes. Pushing the employee who guided him in right out of the way was an old man who looked like a Yakuza member, given his crested kimono and hakama. Did he not get enough of this over the phone? I am Congressman Sonozaki. I demand to know who's responsible for this. This instant. Hello, I am the division chief, Takasugi. I don't need your name. I could have you demoted on a whim. You wouldn't even be enough. Bring out the one who called Oishi or whatever. He deserves punishment for requesting a search warrant on the sacred Furude Shrine. I sincerely apologize. Oishi is currently out on investigation, and he's been difficult to contact. I'll take his place and hear you out. So please, have a seat. The chief's eyes were telling me to get out of here. Perhaps I'll gratefully accept this favor. Maybe I'll go lay down in the nap room. Listen here. The Furude Shrine spent 2,600 years under the imperial calendar, and 2,500 more beyond that. It is sacred, a sanctuary that must never be defiled. The 800,000 gods, Oyashiro-sama, and the spirit of our ancestors are enshrined there. The holy shrine protects Hinamizawa from when the sun comes up to when it sets, and from when the moon rises to when it falls. Who is the idiot that wanted to set foot in there? Besides, the right to religion is the most revered right of the people of this country and the Constitution. You dare to be so bold as to sully that using your own investigation's negligence as pretext? I cannot, I will not allow it. Are you listening, you lying scum? I'm angry now, so you're not getting off the hook that easily. Holy yapping, dude. Insane. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, I'm definitely done for the night. I am exhausted. That was quite the everything. Lots going on. I don't know what to think about anything. Yeah, nobody's on again. Yeah, it's 3 a.m. for me, and not like I need to do anything tomorrow, but I might stream earlier tomorrow if I can remember. I started. What time did I start today? 11:30. I might stream if people are around. I might stream about. I might start stream about 5 hours earlier than I started it today, so like 6:30 my time. You can convert that to whatever your own time zone. But if people are around, I'll do that. But if you guys are like definitely not gonna be around, then I'll just wait for the evening again. Or I might do it even earlier in the day. I don't know. How many of you have jobs that you're gonna be at at whatever time? I see. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for sticking around. Fun stream tonight. It was a lot of fun. Thank you again, Carter, for the sub. Very appreciated. Your 225 will go to good use. But that is it. Good night, everybody. And the dog says good night too.